The Nook.
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 Hello, everyone. Welcome to Saturday. How is everyone doing? I hope everyone's doing good.
Hello.
Hello, everybody.
Hello.
Some new faces today and some familiar ones. I am hosting today, unfortunately, by myself because it is Christmas season and Joe, unfortunately, has had to work. But I am very pleased to be joined by Bloody Drongo and Inanda and Space Shark for today's episode about everything Twitch etiquette. We're going to be talking about everything that you should and shouldn't do as a viewer in someone else's stream or as a streamer in someone else's stream. It is going to be a fantastic episode. I'm really excited to dive into everything. So welcome, everybody. For today's podcast, we're going to just have a little bit of a different format just because Joe is not here with me. So for today, we are going to skip over the Twitch gaming news and the out of context quote. But before we dive into the meat of the podcast, I would like to talk about some Nook news because we do have some that I need to share with you. So the first thing, if you have not seen, we did post on Twitter today. We've been actually kind of like hinting and leading up to this big event that we're doing. We've had a few like sneaky tweets about like, ooh, something's coming. Like, what is it? We finally revealed all today. So I'm putting the link in chat. We are running a Nook holiday charity event, raising funds for Child's Play. It's going to be super awesome. We're doing 24 hours of content and it's going to be a bunch of multiplayer goodness. And we've got a few lovely Nookians hosting. And it's gonna be a ball of fun. We've got Inanda and King Argaroth and Bloody Drongo and Part-Time Triggered and It's Twiggy all hosting. And there's gonna be a bunch of us playing these games with them. And yeah, we're basically just going to be giving back and it's going to be a wonderful time. So that is December 19th and 20th. It starts at 8 a.m. Eastern time, which is 2 p.m. Central European. And it's basically going for 24 hours and it's gonna be awesome. Are you guys excited for it?
I'm super excited.
I haven't personally, it takes a lot for me to agree to play multiplayer games. I don't know why I'm so anxious about that kind of stuff, but I haven't played anything with the Nook yet on any of the streams that you guys have done. So when this came up, I just was like, I need to be part of this. I have to just get over this irrational fear that I have, and I just need to like participate with you guys. So
It's going to be fun.
it's going to be super fun. So once again, December 19th, 20th, that is the weekend right before Christmas. Mark your calendars and make sure that you are following all the people that are participating in this event that are going to be the hosts. So that way you don't miss any other content. So that's the main thing. And then we haven't tweeted about this yet, but I am just going to inject this in. Please keep a lookout on our Twitter for an announcement about Nook Christmas streaming. What I mean by that is with COVID and all the things around the world, quite a few Nook streamers will be streaming over the holidays on the 24th, 25th, 26th. So with that, we're going to be coming out with a schedule for you guys to let you know who's going to be streaming when on those days so that if you have free time over Christmas or maybe you're not getting together with your family because of COVID reasons, we just want to let you know that there will be Nook entertainment happening. So you can come and watch us on those 3 days, or maybe even if you don't celebrate Christmas at all. Yeah, we just want to let you know that there will be some of us that will be streaming over those 3 days. So that's about it for Nook updates. I feel like I should let my guests introduce themselves. You guys know that Bloody Drongo was here last podcast, but I'll still let him introduce himself again.
Hi, everybody. I'm Bloody Drongo. I'm a Twitch partner. I've been streaming on Twitch for about 2.5 years. I play a variety of different games on my stream, and I do a bit of art and other stuff as well. And yeah, I'm excited to be here. Thank you for having me again, Kale.
yeah, thank you for agreeing. Thank you for agreeing to be part of the podcast again today. Love having you on. It was great last time. I mean, it's great having all the Nookians on, and hopefully with each podcast, we can get everyone on the Nook that's interested in being on the podcast to have a chance on the podcast. We still have like, I think 14 different topics that we want to go over at some point. So there's no shortage of content that is coming. Ananda, I will let you introduce yourself because this is your first time on the Nookcast.
It's my first time. I'm so excited to be here. I'm Ananda. I'm also a member of the Nook, an affiliate variety streamer, colloquially known for playing games very, very slowly. But I don't mind that because it means I get to chill out and spend time with chat. I love puzzle games. I'm trying to expand the games that I'm playing, so I'm playing a variety of games, hence variety streamer. In addition to the Nook, I also am part of the GOG community stream team. So I stream over there twice a week on a Saturday and a Monday. On my own channel from Tuesdays through Fridays.
Perfect. And Space Shark, also her first time on the Nookcast. Hello, welcome.
Hello. Yeah, I am Space Shark. I am also a member of the Nook. I play a variety of games. I also cross stitch and do some art streams. My game choices tend to be like indie games and puzzle games, though, but I sneak in a couple of like regular triple A's, but yeah, no, I'm trying to switch my focus to more creative streams though, so look forward to that.
Creative streams are best
Awesome.
streams. Art streams are great.
Mhm.
Also, you should maybe explain to the chat your background currently, because I feel like we might
Oh.
have questions about it.
Yeah. Well, so
Yeah.
like I said, I always try to kind of be a little creative. I used to do subcrafts where I actually had bats hanging all around my head. Just gets really claustrophobic, so I stopped that. But yeah, for Halloween, I was like, I'm gonna do something cool with this boring blank wall behind me, and so yeah, it took me up until Halloween to make it, and then it took so long. It's like, well, I'm not taking it down now, so here it is.
It
It's
looks so
amazing.
good.
It does.
Yeah,
It
I
really
love
does.
it.
Yeah, Space
Never
Shark
Well,
lives
has,
thank you.
Space Shark
Even
has
when you
always
move
been
house,
super
it's all back
creative.
to come.
Love it. Love it. Well, thank you guys. Love having you on the podcast. Today is going to be a wonderful episode. So just want to tell you guys know that Twitch etiquette has always been a topic. I think when we were first planning the podcast, when people were shooting ideas out onto what to talk about, Twitch etiquette was one of the first ones because new viewers and streamers to Twitch may not know that there is kind of a general certain etiquette on how to behave in chat. Not just if you're a viewer going to someone's channel for the first time, but also if you're a fellow streamer, how to, there's certain ways to act, certain do's and don'ts with like things to say or just general. And it's funny because like with Twitch, like this stuff isn't written anywhere really. And also it really depends on the streamer as well and like what they are okay with and what they might not be. So we're going to dive into kind of the overall well-known do's and don'ts of etiquette and like kind of generally what streamers across the platform kind of agree on in terms of do's and don'ts. And then we might dive into some of those more like, personal preferences or like, the four of us will probably talk about things that we like and don't like, that kind of thing. But I will let you guys know that Ananda has come like hella prepared for this podcast today.
Okay. I'm just going to
Thankfully.
point out that I'm the only person in this time zone. So I've been up since like 8 this morning. It's
Right.
now 20 past 10. So I've had a few more hours in the day than you guys have.
Yeah, Drongo just woke up.
Yeah, I'm the reason we're late today. Yeah, so I do apologize.
There's
But
no-
I am
we're not
very
late. It's all good.
underprepared. So
Honestly,
Oh,
this is actually the first Nookcast where we've had to actually no, the last one we probably like just with multiple time zones. Like I think Space Shark and I are in the exact same time zone, but then Drongo's in Australia and Nanda's across the pond. Like yeah. It's sometimes can be tricky coordinating this. So Drongo, thank you for waking up early on a Sunday. Ananda, thank you for joining us so late in your day.
Oh, it's fine. I'm up much later than this. So it's just that I've had more time in the day.
Actually, Space Shark, I think you're a time zone behind me, right? You're Pacific.
No, we're the same.
Are we
We're
the
the
same?
same
Oh, okay.
mountain. Yep.
Okay, cool.
I'm just a lot. Well, not a lot, but a little bit south.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, happy 3:20 p.m. to you.
Yes, you too.
All right. Well, what we're going to do for Twitch etiquette is we're going to dive into the no's first, because I think it's better to end on a high note and talk about like the do's and the positives. But we'll start with the nots. Ananda,
Okay.
misprepared. I'm going to let you start reading from your list, and we will talk it out with you.
Well, as KL quite rightly said, a lot of the hard and fast rules are in terms of service. So everyone reads terms of service, obviously, before they join the channel, just to make sure that you comply and that you're not going to get booted off. The unwritten rules are the Twitch etiquettes. Now, I have my own personal ones that I try and abide by in my own channel and others. But I think the first one that I would say to both streamers and viewers is when you go into a channel, read the rules. It will mitigate so many potential issues that you might have.
Yeah.
If it's a family friendly stream, it's in the rules. Don't swear. It's not difficult. If the rules say no back seating, don't back seat. It will mitigate quite a lot of the don'ts, because a lot of the antagonisms, I think, by people just coming in without reading the room or reading the rules, and that's when the blunders start happening. I don't know what you guys think. I mean, it seems quite straightforward, but the amount of people that don't do that when they come into a channel, it's quite shocking.
For those that don't know, just in case, because we do save these videos on the channel and we also upload to the YouTube. So this is more for people like maybe watching down the road. When we main rules, so each streamer will set chat rules on their platform. So when you go into someone's stream for the first time and you click to type in chat, typically the rules will pop up then, and it makes you acknowledge them. So definitely read those, because the streamer will set out exactly what they want for their stream in those rules. Typically, most streamers will also put those rules in their channel panels somewhere. I know I have my own rules down in mine. But yeah, that's a good one to start off with, Ananda, because like that one by far, pretty much, that's like the number one, is just read the streamer's rules. And just get an idea for what they want, because to go to backseating as well. And for those that may not know what backseating is where you as a viewer are basically telling the streamer how to play the game that they're playing. Most streamers don't appreciate backseat gaming. However, there are some that don't mind a little bit of backseating, and this is why reading the rules is so important, because I find that the streamers that are okay with it will actually spell out that it's okay. And I also find the streamers that are 100% not okay with it will be very explicit about that, like me, for example.
I feel
don't
like
backseating.
I feel like backseating is one of those really difficult ones where it's like people almost can't help themselves but backseat a little bit, because especially if it's a game they really, really love, they just want to share that like little extra tidbit of information that they just found out themselves, or oh, this bit coming up's really good, or something like that. And it's like it can have such a major impact on your enjoyment of the game as a streamer, that it's like it's a really hard one for me personally, because I understand why people do it, but at the same time, like, you're just like, please just don't spoil it for me. I just want to enjoy this myself. But
Right.
yeah,
absolutely. I play a lot of games for the first time on stream, so I'm experiencing it for the first time. And although they are games that might be well loved by chat, if I'm playing a puzzle game and someone immediately comes in and tells me how to solve a puzzle, I might as well just look at a walkthrough, or they could just go and watch a YouTube stream.
Right.
I also play a lot of story-driven games, and I've also had some people who I would put down the backseat / troll route, where they also try and talk about story that hasn't happened yet. And again, there is a fine line between someone saying you should take that path to the left and then jump up that wall and do that, to asking them which direction are you thinking about going next, or is going up the wall faster than going down the path to the left. There are ways of wording it so it's not quite so antagonistic.
Right. Yeah, fully agreed with that. I'm in the same boat. I mean, my whole stream is pretty much built on first playthroughs. So thankfully I haven't had too many experiences where it's been a problem. I find that people accidentally spoiler more than they accidentally backseat, especially in a story game. I think that people just get so excited about the characters that you're about to meet or the quests that you're about to do and there's a lot of like spoilery stuff that people don't realize are spoilers, that I have also been guilty of accidentally doing myself to some people. Not even just with gaming, but like in real life with like movies and TV shows and stuff too. Yeah, the kind of like the thing that I do in my channel, like the tip that I have is like I say no spoilers and no backseating, but I keep it kind of open by saying like if you have a tip that you think I would benefit from, like maybe actually perfect example is Dragon Age 2 that I'm playing right now. So the game doesn't tell you that if you proceed with a certain big quest, it actually locks any uncompleted quests behind that. So if you go ahead and proceed with this main quest, anything that you have uncompleted up until that point will be locked and you can't go back and do it. And the game doesn't tell you that. So like I've had a couple of viewers ask me like, hey, do you know about this? Because they didn't like, and I think something like that is like, I'm totally okay with that kind of stuff. Like, yes, give me a tip if the game is like not going to tell me, or if you think it would benefit. Like I had similar when I played Fallout New Vegas. Someone noticed that I had multiple of the same weapon and they're like, hey, do you know how to repair them to combine them into one? And I was like, no, actually. And so they're like, okay, like this is what you do. And like that, something like that, I'm totally fine with that. So that's why I kind of leave it open. But to go back to, and I always bring this up because Dawn was just so great with it, but Dawn's whole analogy where she's like, one tip is fine, but as soon as you go tip, 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 it's not just the tip anymore, it's the whole dick.
Yeah.
Like,
I love
still the best analogy ever. It's like, we don't want the whole dick. Anyway.
I'm going to have to borrow that one.
It's so good. It's such a funny clip too, because like for those that don't know Dauntless on the team, she's our Scottish lass who has a very thick and amazing Scottish accent. So her just describing that was just the best thing ever. Anyway, but I will never forget that because it's so true though. It's like literally the best way to describe what your expectation is.
But I completely agree, and every channel is different when it comes to it's like I mean, etiquette is reading the room, learning the rules for the channel that you're in. Everyone's different. We're not all carbon copies of each other.
No.
For my channel, spoilers are a no, especially if it's a game I'm playing for the first time. But I don't mind people helping me with the mechanics of a game, for example, as you said, combining a gun. If I'm doing something where I'm just not getting a mechanic, then I have no problem with people pointing that out. I just don't want them to tell me how to play the game. There's a fine line, but it is a very distinct line when it comes to hints and tips and flat out telling someone what to do as well. It's a phrasing thing as well as an action, I think.
Yeah, for sure.
I think it just comes down to asking. Like if you are in doubt, just ask. Ask a mod,
There's
ask
no
the
harm in
streamer. I've
asking.
had so many people ask me, "Do you want to know about this?" And it's like, I don't. And even if I don't know, like me, sometimes I'm not very direct with like how I'm feeling about things. I know a lot of people are, and that's great, but sometimes I'm not. And if you feel the streamer is uncomfortable with the question or whatever, just assume don't do it. Like it's very easy. Like at least, to just try to read the room a little bit. The other thing I wanted to mention before we move away from rules is that if you actually go down into the underneath the chat window, there's a settings cog, and if you click that, there's a line item to view the chat rules if you miss that or you want to review them in any channel that you're in. It's an easy way. And then, of course, the panels, like Kale mentioned, possibly have the chat rules in there as well. I think it also goes, it's also important for the streamer to define their rules. Like, I know I've been in a lot of places that are like, let's be friends. Like, that's their rule. And it's, like, that's fine. I think that it depends on the tone of your channel, but I think it's also kind of important to be really specific about your rules, like, no racism, no transphobia, like spelling it out instead of like, or it doesn't have to be super specific, but having like really direct rules for people that may not be able to interpret like being a bud or like whatever your vague, rule is, single rule. I think it's also kind of in the streamer's responsibility in that sense.
Yeah. Yeah, like I often see the generic rule of like don't be a dick, which is like okay, fine,
Mhm.
but that doesn't address things like backseating, spoilers,
Mhm.
like anything like that,
Right,
right? Because like
exactly. Yeah.
I'm pretty sure people that on it like people that even if they intentionally spoiler or backseat, it doesn't mean they're a bad person or that
Right.
they're a dick, right? And again, it goes back to like I know plenty of streamers that are 100% okay with backseating. Um
Mhm.
and if that's something they're okay with, then but yeah, you're right. It's uh oh, thank you.
Oh, I
Thanks.
catch it.
I didn't even realize that was I didn't even realize that was there. I'm so sorry. Thank you. I'm happy I read that comment. Like you guys know, I normally don't read the chat in detail when we're doing this podcast, but thank you. That was an important one.
That's an interesting point because I am one of those annoying streamers then that just has the don't be a dickhead
Actually,
rule
I
on
am
my stream.
too. I have like 3 rules or
And
something.
yeah, yeah.
But that's
Like
on
for
my
me
to-do list.
personally, like my streams are pretty open but like I also like for me personally, I don't necessarily want to set like hard and fast rules because I don't want to set the margin for where trolls know what's inappropriate, if that makes sense. Although I guess like you could go really extreme and then it's just going to be inappropriate everywhere. But like generally speaking, I like to. I don't know. Maybe I just don't like. I don't know.
And
Maybe I'm
that's
just being lazy.
no, that's fine
But
too.
like, yeah, that's a very fair point. Like around having at least the basics set in stone.
Well,
Um,
and also too,
yeah.
like that's also why we're talking about this today, because if we can communicate out kind of the generally understood do's and don'ts, then when someone goes to a channel like yours, Drongo, for example, at least they kind of have an understanding of the general expectations. And then from being in your stream, they can kind of pick up how your vibe is and what you like and don't like.
Yeah, for sure. And I'm also one of those streamers that's not uncomfortable to call out something if I think it's inappropriate or something like that.
Right.
Like, hey guys, such and such. I don't think that's an appropriate joke or something like that. I'm not afraid. Like, I don't have an issue having that. And I think a lot of times, and I guess that's going to come back to what my one of the things I wanted to talk about is around the different like because Twitch is like a massively international thing. You've got so many different like countries and cultures
Yeah.
all on this one platform, and we all have different interpretations of what's appropriate and what's inappropriate based on our cultural background or our upbringing or any number of different things.
Right.
And I think personally, I like to try and give people at least a little bit of the benefit of the doubt in the sense that, you might not realize that what you've said is necessarily offensive to, a particular person or something like that. Like, and, being at least aware of stuff like that is something that I do actively try to be like, for example, like I didn't know up until about 6 months ago that the word spooky or is offensive to some people because it was a racial slur. And ever since I found that out, I've been trying to cut back on my usage of that word because I realized that it's offensive to people.
Wait, you're gonna have to educate me because I don't know this.
Yeah, well, yeah, it completely came out of nowhere for me as well. It's just like, oh, Okay, I hadn't even considered that before. And I think, as streamers, like I think it's probably really healthy to be constantly self-reflective
Right.
of the way that we interact with our viewers and, what kind of message that we put across and what kind of vibe we put across, especially because at the end of the day, we're all learning and we're not all going to be able to be I guess able to cater to everybody, but at the same
Right.
time, like I think we can do really well in terms of making sure, if that's what you want to do, is making sure your communities can be really inclusive and stuff like that.
Yeah, as streamers, we're never going to be able to satisfy everybody, and there also might just be, um, you might have a viewer that doesn't like another viewer in your chat and ends up leaving, but that's something that starts getting like out of our control,
Yeah.
basically, right? Because we can't police everybody. But yeah, as long as we have like those general things, like there's just kind of going to like terminology. Um, yeah, that's one that that can be tricky because like just as you said, there's some words in certain countries that are more fluently and casually used than in other places. Like, I know in Australia and the UK, the C word is thrown around like the S word in America. I feel like,
That's the one I was thinking of this whole time.
right?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, absolutely. And I generally don't use it very often on stream, like, and that's because of that, because I realize, in like places like America, it holds so much more weight. It's so much more cutting.
yes,
So yeah, I generally try not to use it too often, even though I probably do quite often in my day-to-day
that's
life.
fine.
I only use it on really big occasions.
Just yeah,
For real
you know,
effect.
Christmas, Easter,
Christmas, yeah, bar mitzvahs, fake funerals,
Love it.
But you actually make the point that Drongo made. I mean, it's also kind of skirting around some of the other things that I was noting down before. There's one thing when, as a viewer, someone comes into chat and they're antagonistic. I mean, we're talking about etiquette. You don't walk into someone's living room and start picking a fight. It is, and that's pretty much paramount what happens, whether it's between viewers or picking a fight with the streamer. Again, it's down to etiquette. You wouldn't do that. You wouldn't walk into someone's living room and call them a name or say they're fat or just any one of a number of things that sometimes people think they can get away with because they're behind a keyboard. Now, one of the ways that I counter it, apart from just the rules, is that I have a very firm grip on what I find acceptable in my chat and what I don't. It's down to me to make my chat a comfortable, friendly place. And if someone's not doing that, I will address that directly. However, there is also another line of defense other than your rules, and that's your mod team, which I think is one of the most important things to help enforce this, not just the rules, but the general etiquette. So I'm a moderator as well as a streamer. If someone is pushing boundaries, whether it be backseating against the or just like or being antagonistic or being a little bit spoilery, rather than the streamer have to get to that point where, okay, they've made their third comment, now I'm going to address it. As a moderator, I will send them a whisper and take it out of chat and explain from because I know the rules that the streamer want to abide, and they might not know it. They might not have been into that stream for that long. They might not have read the room very well. There might be a number of reasons. However, rather than calling them out in public, taking it out of chat into a whisper, explaining to them why, usually diffuses that before it even starts. And I think that as far as etiquette's concerned, trying to enforce that when it's not all laid out in like 54 pages of addendums your mods will help to maintain the friendly atmosphere in your chat by doing that.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I think, I think that's been an absolutely crucial part of my stream over the years is my mod team. They do an amazing job. And, they've been around the stream enough and they know, exactly when somebody's crossed the line pretty much, and they'll just go, yeah, okay, all right, we'll sort that out. It's almost crazy sometimes. A lot of the time I'm actually surprised, especially when I see something in chat go by and I'm just like in the middle of doing something else, and I'll go, oh, I don't like that, and then I'll go back to either say something or do something about it, or like time somebody out or whatever, and it's already done, and I'm like, these guys are amazing. Like seriously, mod team absolutely amazing.
Yeah, my
And it
mods
also-
have. Oh, go ahead.
No, carry on.
Yeah, just to add to that, my mods have definitely handled things like immediately without me even like noticing or saying anything. The best is when like someone says something in chat, mod deletes it or bans the person or whatever, and like as a streamer you don't even acknowledge it. Like it's as if it never happened. It was just like a ghost that came in and bloop and left. And
Yep.
although like as we talk about etiquette, like I never used to do this, and honestly, I feel very grateful in that I haven't had too many negative chatter experiences with my stream, but I'm getting like creative in that, if someone comes in and says something that's like not completely bannable right away, but just a comment that, maybe going back to Ananda's point where it's just more like they're coming in and saying something that you wouldn't expect with their first time entering the living room or whatever. Like the other day, it just happened, I think this week. This person came into my chat and said something about like needing a measuring tape to measure my forehead. And I took that and just ran with it. And I like zoomed in right to my forehead. And I just sat there for a bit and was just like, isn't my forehead great? And I just turned it into like this big like joke. And then
I feel like
and then Ahmad had timed them out for 10 minutes so they couldn't even respond anyway. And then after the timeout expired, they never came back. So,
I feel like honestly, like that can be such a good, like a powerful tool, as streamers is being able to, I guess lean into a troll
Yeah.
and be able to kind of, I guess, come back at them and just go, well, you know what? I don't really care what you say. Like, who the hell are you?
it's because
You know?
people that do that,
like-
they want to see a reaction out of the streamer. Like they want the
yeah.
streamer to buckle. So if you're able to have thick enough skin to do something like what I did, where I just took that comment and I stopped playing my game and I just zoomed right into my face, right to my forehead, and just sat there for a bit and just like actually put focus on it, then that person knows like, oh, this person's not insecure about who they are or
Yeah.
not, and then they probably just leave anyway. So
It's not always possible to do that, and we're not always in the
No.
right frame of mind to be able to do that.
No.
But when you can do it, it can be such a powerful, I guess, statement.
and then
Yeah.
if you can get chat like joining in on that, then it's even better.
Yeah, I feel that.
Yeah.
I mean, chat does tend to rally when it comes to trolls. And
For
to
sure.
be honest, we're talking about stream etiquette, but there is a fine line between when someone is just being rude rather than going full out troll. And I think that how you handle it is 100% how. I mean, I've had a troll come in before, and I ran with it. I can't even remember what happened. It was while I was playing Subnautica. I can't remember.
Wow, trolls with
I
Subnautica,
just-
shocker.
I know. Like trolls doing Subnautica. Who would have thought? And it just went on and on and on, and it got to the point where I was like, "This is the best you can do. Come on, just try a bit harder. Just try a bit harder." And they ended up finding it quite funny and hanging around and actually just dropping the whole troll act and being quite a nice chatty member of the rest of the stream. But that doesn't happen very often.
Yeah.
With having the mods in place to also explain the etiquette of it as well, how a comment might be misconstrued if it's not the vernacular or if it's not someone's first language as well, because we have a lot of viewers who English is not their first language, and they something might have got lost in translation. So it might be a completely innocent comment, But again, it sets a precedent for the rest of chat. So you as a streamer or your mod has to be aware of that and deal with that at the time. But in doing that and being seen to be done that, also sends a message to everyone else that it is a safe place, that the etiquette is in place, that we are a friendly community, and we're going to maintain that, whether it be through force, timeouts and bans, or through education. And I think that both are just as valid. It just depends on how far someone is willing to hold their hands up, say sorry, and change their ways.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, exactly. Cool.
Which also brings me to another point: is if someone does get timed out or told that they're not behaving in the correct way, Twitch etiquette: do not argue with mods. Do not argue with mods. The amount of people that get bees in their bonnets because a mod has told them not to do something, and they're, oh, you're not the streamer, you can't tell me what to do. Yeah, don't argue with mods.
One of my rules literally is respect the mods, like 100%. I don't want anybody arguing with any of my mods. They all know exactly what my expectations are. And I trust them, and they've handled things for me that I haven't had any input in. Not just in my stream, but in my Discord as well. Like, there was one night I was streaming and friggin' shit went down in my Discord, and I had no idea about it until after the fact. And by that point, things were deleted, and I just went to mod chat and read like the whole thing and just caught myself up. I was like, thanks guys, great job. And so, yeah, it's important to pick people that you trust and that respect your call for your stream and your community. Ever.
Yeah, absolutely.
I wish I didn't read that. He's just joking, by the way.
I know. The kappa was implied.
So Everdeen just said, when KL asks for respect for the mods but disrespects her mods, just for those that are watching after the fact. Yeah, no, that's very important. Yeah, and I explicitly just state that in my rules because I have had situations where certain people have, I wouldn't say argued, but just challenged, maybe is the correct word, like challenged a mod. And it's frustrating. It's like, respect the streamer, respect the mods. Like, yeah, that's very much I feel like that falls into like don't respect or don't disrespect
the mods.
Yeah, thank you.
Do you want me to go on to the next one?
Yes.
As I say, I've got like pages of this. We could be on at like 4 a.m, so like buckle up. One of the Twitch etiquettes that comes up the most. I haven't had many issues with the backseating or the spoilers that we've covered. The one that happens more than I care to admit is self-promoting. It is the one of the biggest pieces of Twitch etiquette that so many people just don't get. And it is if all you have to do is Google like unwritten Twitch rules or Twitch etiquette, and it's the first thing that comes up on most occasions. Is unless you are really close to that streamer, or unless that streamer is mentioning your channel, don't mention it in chat.
Yeah.
And that can be from I played that game on my stream, or I even had someone come into my stream saying, when I played this game, I don't have as many viewers as you do. It's like, for fuck's sake, really? Are you surprised? But that doesn't just go for promoting your own stream. People try and be very subtle about it. When I did this level the other day, and some one of my viewers said X, Y, and Z. And again, it's a very roundabout way of doing exactly the same thing.
Mhm.
And it's just to don't do it. Just to don't do it. I'm just going to go. I'm just leaving now. I'm going to put a lurk on because I'm just going to go and stream. Don't do
Yeah.
it.
And I
um,
feel like as well, like it's like no matter how subtle you think you're being,
you know.
you're not.
No.
Like you immediately, as soon as you see that, you're just like, oh, okay, I see what you're doing here.
Mhm.
It's so funny because when I first started streaming on Twitch, like this is before I knew about the general Twitch etiquette, and I still cringe about the fact that there was a stream I went to like in my first week on Twitch, and I was enjoying her content like so much, and at the end of it, I was just like, well, I gotta run because I'm actually gonna start streaming now, and oh my god, I cringe when I think back to doing that. Like
Oh
she was
no.
super cool about it. She was just like, oh, okay, like enjoy your stream, have fun. Like she was totally fine about it, but I'm sure on the inside she was just like, fucking bitch.
No, I'm like pretty similar in that respect. You know, when I was relatively new to Twitch, I was doing YouTube at the time, and I'd been watching this streamer for about I don't know, probably about 6 months probably at that point. So I was reasonably familiar with them, but I did the classic you know, I'm thinking about streaming. Do you have any tips as a new streamer thing? And I'm just like, when I think back to it, I was just like, oh, that is so cringy. That should have just been like a PM or something. But like, I was just like, I did that, and I'm just like, looking back, and I'm like, oh, that's not yeah, that's not the best. But like at the same time, and I mean, like that's kind of coming back to what I generally how I approach things, which is giving people the benefit of the doubt.
Right.
Um, but like, yeah, it, there is so many people out there, especially I generally find like a lot of younger people will be like, oh yeah, I was streaming this the other day, or you know, wow, you've got so many viewers playing this compared to when I play it, and you know, stuff like that. It's just like, yeah, I see what you're doing.
Yeah.
Like, it's okay.
It's so thinly veiled as well.
Yeah.
Thinly veiled.
Mm-hmm.
I
And
think
it's
this is one of those things though where there's still a range of acceptance for it. Same with like backseating and spoilers. Like in my I wouldn't love it if somebody came in and was like, "I'm gonna go stream right now." Like that would that would be annoying. But in my rules, it's like I love talking about streaming. Like I really enjoy connecting with other streamers about streaming. Like that's totally fine. I'm totally happy about having conversation about it, but I don't know, like having rules that kind of allow that ability to introduce instances where, somebody might say, "Okay, I'm gonna go stream now." I think it just takes having a strong sense of like if what where the line is and being like really vocal about that. But
Yeah.
um again, this goes back to look at the rules to see if there's any mention of like generally, yeah,
Yeah.
don't say anything about streaming or somebody else that's streaming that whose channel you're gonna go watch or whatever. So and so just went live. I'm gonna go over there. Bye.
I
Like
was
that.
just
That's
about
terrible.
that was what I wanted to segue into is okay,
Yeah.
if you're a viewer that isn't a fellow streamer, obviously everything we just said doesn't apply to you. But as a
Mhm.
viewer, it is Twitch etiquette to not like, yeah, don't be like, okay, well this was fun, but I'm gonna go watch so and so now. It's just like
Right.
just say you're leaving. I'm
Right.
gonna assume that, like, okay, for myself personally, like I've almost always got 4 tabs up with somebody on, and of course one will typically be unmuted and the other 3 will be muted because we can't have 4 people with the audio on at once. It's just my brain. But yeah, like I'll watch someone for a while and I'll talk in their chat, I'll have fun, and then I'll just say some kind of generic like, okay, I'm gonna lurk now, or talk to you later, see you chat, and I'll say just like a generic goodbye. And yeah, like 9 times out of 10, I'm literally just unmuting someone else to just go say hi to them and make
Mhm.
chat for 20 minutes or so, right? But it's the fact that as a streamer, and like if you don't stream, you obviously don't understand the feelings, but as a streamer, like if we're sitting there and someone's like, okay, I'm gonna go watch so and so, it kind of hurts a bit in a way. Like it shouldn't, but it does. Like it kind of just like, oh, okay, like you're picking someone else over me. Like, and I hate that for most people, like it feels that way. It just does, and that's why it's like this kind of broad etiquette brush to just,
Mm.
you know,
There are absolutely degrees of it, though.
For sure.
I mean, and a lot of my community and obviously Nook and stuff, I have absolutely no problem in talking about and shouting about other people's streams,
Yeah.
particularly with people in the community, because I really do want to support other streamers. It's not all about me. It's not insular like that. So I mean, I've even got a quite a low count channel point redemption for a shout out. So if you were someone new that wanted to let me know you streamed and you weren't on the Discord, there's a section of my Discord for people to shout themselves out when they go live. And I love that being used because it means that I'm discovering more of my community is streaming. So I have, and if I ask people about their day, about their streams, absolutely tell me about them. What I'm talking about are the people. One instance that pissed me off to no end that comes to mind was when I was playing The Walking Dead, and this guy comes in to chat, and he immediately starts talking about how he's a new streamer. So rather than jump on that, he had some questions. So we had a good half an hour chat about his stream and about what he was doing, and he asked for some advice, gave him some advice. The conversation was done, and then he went on to say, right, I'm going to go and stream in 5 minutes. And I said, just so you know, as a new streamer, that's kind of bad form, so it's fine. However, just for future reference, people don't like it when you do that, because you're basically saying, I'm going to do this. Do you want to come along? Which is rude. I mean, it's the same vernacular as you're inviting some people to your house. Someone comes in and goes, I've got a better party down the road. However, so I explained in not an aggressive way why it was a bit rude to do that. And then literally 10 minutes, he came back saying, I can't go live at the moment because my sister's on the internet. I'm like, okay, fine. And then literally 10 minutes later, oh no, she's finished on the internet. I'm going live now. And it's like,
Oh no.
And then your whole chat is just like them giving you the play-by-play of their life right now.
Oh boy.
to help you, help me to help you. And so so I am talking extreme circumstances, and I don't have like I'm not massively harsh with people that start self-promoting. It's usually just look, that's kind of bad form, just so you know.
Yeah.
However, I've had people come into viewers come into the chat that I had no idea streamed. And something came up in chat, and it's like, "Oh my god, you're a streamer, right? I absolutely need to follow you now." So I just give them a shout out and get everyone to follow.
Yeah.
Again, there's ways and means of doing it,
and it's different when you as the streamer are like, you know, excited, like, because I do shout outs too. I don't do them as often as I used to, but I'll do shout outs and I'll talk about other streamers, and like, you know, it's different, like, and it goes back to the whole just general like read the room kind of thing, right? But yeah, and maybe just to clear it up, like when we say no self-promoting, we're really meaning like with text, like with your words. We actually want to do an episode on the Nookcast eventually where we kind of talk about like streamer Twitter debates, like streamer hot Twitter topics, like, because there's things that come up constantly on Twitter that people just debate about for a while. And there was one a while ago about is it considered self-promoting when you use your own emotes in someone's chat? And I think most streamers by far would say no, it's not. Like, I don't consider that self-promotion.
No, I don't. I want my emotes. I want to use them.
Exactly. I paid good money for them. I'm going to use them.
Yeah.
So I just wanted to clear up the difference there, because it's more like when you're using your words to say, hey, I'm going to go stream now. If you were to add like your emote at the end of a sentence that has nothing to do with your stream, like, it's not, that's fine.
No, exactly.
I've also heard that some people get upset with partner badges in the chat because apparently that's self-promotion as well, which made me when I first got partnered super like paranoid that I was going to go into somebody's stream and they'll be like, what are you doing self-promoting in my chat? I'm like, I'm sorry, I'm just existing. So I actually, like, for a while there I just had my badge turned off.
Oh,
I was like, no, I earned that, I'm
yeah.
gonna keep it
I'm
on.
glad you
I was
turned
gonna
it
say
back
that's
on.
really sad.
Yeah.
I'm glad you switched it.
It's
Yeah.
that big tick energy.
Yeah. I've definitely heard that though.
Yeah.
I've heard of the whole like people being bothered by partner badges, which I don't know, man. It's like you wouldn't say that if there were affiliate badges, would you? Like, no, I don't think
I don't
so.
know. Would you? I feel like some people might, but I guess
Maybe.
and I guess it really does come down to like taking the time to understand the stream, the rules, and just like what I will generally do if I'm watching a stream for the first time. I will generally just like hang out in there for maybe a few hours or maybe even a few days before I even say anything at all, and yeah, just to kind of suss things out and make sure I have like a good understanding of what that community's like and what goes there and that kind of thing. So
Right.
yeah, I guess everybody has their own interpretation of what's considered appropriate and not. So yeah, just take the time to try and understand that as well as possible.
Yeah. Cool. Well, I think self promotion was pretty well covered there. It's funny, like not necessarily self promotion, but just kind of going back to the whole like as a viewer talking about someone else's stream kind of thing. Like, I actually find myself still almost doing that by accident because like in my mind I'm like, oh, I'm talking about my friend, but I forget that for people that might not know that person, they see me as, oh, this person's talking about this other streamer in this streamer's chat. Like, why are they doing that? So I found myself kind of slipping into that once in a while. And again,
My
I guess it
tactic is
just
to just say, like, instead of saying mom game's harder, to say, oh, mom did blah blah blah. Like if you don't, I don't know. I feel like it's less
right.
obvious or intrusive when I'm not giving a full, this is
Mm,
their screen name. Go find them.
right.
If I'm just referring to my friend or whatever, it
Yeah,
just feels better.
like saying Jimbles instead of middle aged stream.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fair. All right, Ananda, what's next on your list?
Oh God, we haven't even got down one page. I told you we could be here at 4 a.m.
I love it.
I did want to. I wanted to mention a few low-key ones as well. Ones
Perfect.
that are actual etiquette as opposed to like hard and fast. It pisses people off things. Things like someone. How can I word this? What could be interpreted as begging for gift subs. So someone saying, "Oh, my subs ran out," or "Oh, I don't have the emotes anymore," and yeah, that
Yep.
that again comes down to they might be a valued member of the community. They might genuinely miss having the emotes. If they can't afford them, I'm sorry. I know that subscribing to a channel is greatly appreciated, but not required in order for you to view the content. I mean, the content is free. Anyone who supports a channel monetarily is wonderful, and we are all massively appreciative. However, when someone goes, "Oh, I don't have the emotes anymore, I can't afford it," and then someone immediately gives them a sub, I don't know. There's something about that I just find. Oh, it's like I find it grates me because I feel like
Yeah.
the rest of the chat are being put upon in that respect. And I have
They're
some
being pressured.
amazingly generous people that are in my chat that give subs regularly. But I would like it to be on their terms as opposed to someone playing the tiniest violin in the world.
Yeah. I know of a community where there are people in the community that will jump on that. And I think that like people have noticed that. So people now keep doing it. And oh my God, it bothers me so much. I'm just like I almost want to tell these people that are gifting the sub, like, Just do it when you want to, because you want to do it. Like, don't just do it at like 30 seconds after they complain that, oh, I want access to these emotes, but I can't afford it, or I'm broke, or, like, it's fine if you can't afford it. Like, just, yeah, when you say things like that, it just comes across as like begging most of the time, and it's just not a good look.
I mean, the curse of 2020, I've had to cancel some subscriptions to
Yep.
channel that I really want to be subscribed to.
Yep.
However, I wouldn't. I mean, and I do get gifted subs quite regularly because I lurk in a lot of channels, as well as I visit a lot of channels. But it's when it becomes that, oh, I'm the only one without a badge, or I'm the only one without emotes, or oh, I can't do the raid because I don't have the emotes.
Yeah.
It's like, here's some universal emotes. There's a whole raid message just for
Mhm.
you. Yeah, it does break.
Or like me as a streamer, I know not everybody uses Better Twitch TV. So Better Twitch TV is a Chrome extension. So if you watch Twitch streams on Google Chrome, you can download the free extension. I, as a streamer, and many other streamers, upload emotes to Better Twitch TV. Those are emotes that you can use in chat without needing to be subbed. I recently had my emotes redone, so with my old emotes, I uploaded them into BTTV, and sometimes they still get used. And so that's another alternative for anyone watching that is a streamer, to kind of help people feel a little bit more inclusive, and give people emotes that aren't subscribed that they can still use and have fun and enjoy in your chat. But kind of just touching on this, on viewers begging for gift subs. Another one of my favorites is when like a massive gift sub bomb gets dropped, like whether it's 5 or 10 or 20, and then someone goes, oh, it didn't give me a sub. And it's just like, it's the exact same thing.
Mhm.
Yeah.
It's like, sorry, the
What is
Twitch
it? They say,
algorithm did not
"Oh,
pick you
that
today.
sub bomb, or I dodged the sub bomb," or something, like,
Yeah.
whatever that
Yeah.
that trope is.
Yeah, and it does happen, and I know that there might be genuine disappointment there,
Mhm.
but you don't have. I mean, the physical act of typing that means that it was an actual thought that not just went through your head, that you had to share with everyone. It's etiquette. It's not okay. Yeah, don't do that. Don't do that.
I
On the
just
same
wanted to kinda highlight what Chubek said here. I know that there's been points in my stream where, like, one of the things I say a lot in my stream is, "Oh, this is fine. Everything's fine. I have a fine emote." Like, there's just always fine. And so, if somebody wanted to participate in this particular thing, like if I'm having a very difficult stream of some sort and really wanted a fine emote, if you're spending enough time in a channel, you do probably have access to channel points. Streamers can turn them off, but generally there are channel points in every stream, and you can use your channel points towards unlocking an emote for the stream, so you can still
Yes.
participate in
Absolutely.
ways, and it's a non-monetary way to get the emotes that you so desire.
And most streamers
Yeah.
have those redemptions set low. So
Mhm.
that, given any amount of time in a channel, like you could almost go into every single stream and unlock every single emote for that stream with the channel points. Yeah, thank you for bringing that up, because I honestly kind of forget that's a thing. Mostly just because nobody
I do
does that
too.
in my stream.
I get a few, and it's like, oh my god, they've actually spent some points on because they
That's
want the
good.
emote. It's there; they can do it.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
perfect.
Yeah. It's,
God, I've got so many things written down. One thing that is again is from a streamer's point of view to a viewer's point of view. I haven't seen any streamers do it in another streamer's chat. I think the viewers are trying to be helpful in doing it, but again, Twitch etiquette is not to mention a streamer's viewer numbers
Hmm.
in chat.
Yep.
If a streamer wants to know how many viewers they've got, they'll have the viewer numbers visible. If they don't want to know how many viewers they've got, they won't have the numbers visible. They don't need you to point it out. The same goes if chat's really busy, or particularly when it's quiet. So having someone pointed out, oh, the numbers are a bit low today, or chat's really quiet today.
Chat's really
I
quiet. It
don't
drives me
need you
nuts.
to point that out. I'm aware.
Hmm.
Mhm.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I have it specifically laid out my rules. Don't mention viewer count, because for me, I turned it off a while back. I found that for my own brain, it was much nicer to have viewer count off. So I did have some people like let me know what viewer, and so then that's why I ended up putting it in as a hard rule. Just because I did have people mention it on higher viewer streams than normal, and yeah, it just is like, yeah, don't mention it. But it's funny how there's both sides of it. There's both sides of it being like, wow, there's a lot of people in here today versus, oh my God, chat's so quiet. Where is everybody? And, and it does seem like a harmless thing to say, but yeah, especially pointing out, like, I'm definitely more okay with people pointing out how busy it is. Like, that part doesn't bother me. And I
was
feel
just
like
gonna
that
ask
probably
that.
doesn't bother much people, or more like most people. But the flip side, just like coming in and being like, wow, chat's so quiet. Where is everyone tonight? It's just like, I don't know.
What do you want me to say?
Like-
They have better things to do than watch me. It's always a weird one. I feel like for me personally, like viewer count isn't something that particularly bothers me. Like I don't have a rule against that. I have my viewer count, visible to myself so I can see it when I'm live and things like that. But it there definitely is sometimes, comments that people will sometimes make that do kind of like play in the back of my mind, just like, oh wow, you've got so many more viewers today. And it's just like, what do you mean? Like, do you not think I deserve more viewers? What are you saying?
Mm.
Things like that. And it's like it's very much like an irrational thing, because it's like to them it's probably just like a passing observation, but as a streamer you kind of go, what is the meaning of this comment?
Right.
And it kind of takes your mind off the ball a little bit per se. But
Yeah.
for me, it doesn't really bother me that much personally.
And the other thing too is like, sometimes viewer number and chat busyness does not always correlate. Like I have been in streams where there have been 300 viewers and chat is moving slowly. And that tells me that a lot of people are choosing to lurk and just have the stream up in the background and not actively chat. And then I've also been in streams where there's 50 viewers and chat's flying. And I'm like, holy crap, everyone's talking and everyone's posting emotes and having fun. And so, those two don't always go hand in hand. So I just wanted to bring that up as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And having of lurkers is great. I mean, lurkers are the bread and butter of any
Lurkers
stream.
are the backbone of
We
Twitch.
love lurkers.
Mhm.
We love lurkers a lot. But I mean, with pointing out high numbers, I mean, I always have my numbers visible because I'm a masochist. I know I shouldn't. But I haven't been able to like tear off that band-aid yet. We've had many conversations about having viewer numbers visible in the Nook. It's one of these things that I know I should turn them off, because sometimes it does really affect me. But in the same vein, if I didn't have them posted and someone said, oh wow, your numbers are really good tonight, and then I looked at them maybe during a stream break or something and they weren't that good, it's like, well, what have I done in the last half hour that was that bad, that all these viewers that they said they had? That I mean, it can affect people in a number of different ways, and pointing stuff out that maybe the stream doesn't want to know until they decide to look at their analytics after the stream can cause all kinds of anxieties and things that you might not be aware of when all you're doing is saying, great, you've numbers that you've got like 100 viewers, fantastic. If a streamer wants to know their numbers, they'll have them visible.
Yeah.
I mean, simple as that.
Yep, exactly.
I think inversely to this as well, and I just saw somebody in chat comment on this, but as as a streamer, especially if you're a new streamer, if you have your chat open and you can see who's in the chat, calling out a lurker is never a good thing. Like if somebody wants to engage with you in the chat, they will engage with you in the chat. if they want to just kind of hang out in the background there and just, watch your stream, then let them, be as entertaining as you can be, but just let them chill. Don't like call them out by name. I have been in, quite small streams before where I'll like go in there and I'll be watching and then they'll be like, "Oh, hey, Bloody Drongo, how you doing?" I'm just like, "Oh no, I've been seen." And then there's one particular instance that comes to mind where they were just like, "Oh, why aren't you talking? Are you even there?" And I'm just like, "Oh god, this is so awkward." And I just left and
Yeah.
it was not good. But like I guess that's on the reverse side of that. That's something, as a streamer, especially if you're starting out, don't try and force interaction on the viewers. Just try and let it happen naturally, and then if they start to talk with you, then you can kind of engage with them and interact with them, because that's them saying, "I'm comfortable enough in your stream to want to chat with you about whatever."
Yeah. And as a viewer too, like don't go in the viewer list either and see a name and start typing in chat to that person either, like because that's another way of
Yeah.
calling them out. So the etiquette goes on both sides. Like just as a like I really don't check my viewer list. When not it's work to check it for me, but I really don't. I don't check it. I just focus on who is chatting at that moment and who is,
Yeah,
that-
I've written "Don't call out lurkers" in capital letters. Drongo, be pleased.
It was only recently that I kind of learned that some people were uncomfortable with following if it brought up their name on the
Mhm.
stream, and I'd never really even thought about it, and I recently with my channel rebrand I made it so that was the case. But yeah, I feel like there's always ways that we can kind of learn and develop our streams to kind of help in different areas, but like yeah, that's another example of kind of letting people have their anonymity. Is that the right word? Is that how you say that?
It's a hard word.
Think about the same, actually. I know that a lot of Nikians have changed to not having the follower named, and I've been thinking about doing it too. There's only been one person that's followed my channel, and it's been really recently. That said in chat, or I followed. I didn't think I'd be called out for it, and that has made me seriously think about taking that off my alerts.
It took me a long time to switch too, because for a while there I had Stranger Things alerts and they looked really cool. Like you got to see your name look like Stranger Things font, and so that was like people would see somebody follow and then would follow because they wanted to see their own name. So it's like I know that I'm an edge case, but I I did eventually just switch away. With DMCA stuff, which we don't obviously have to get into this round. With all that all got. I'm glad that I started with a new set and everything, and now I also do the anonymous follows. And I don't know if I've seen a positive change because of it, but it,
I've
it feels better for some
definitely
reason. I like it.
Yeah, I've definitely noticed, and I know Twiggy has mentioned this as well, that they've noticed, but sometimes when you have the follow alert go off, like let's say it hadn't gone off in a long time, like you haven't had a follower in hours, and all of a sudden it goes off and it's anonymous and you just go, "Oh, thank you so much for the follow. Welcome in. Hope you're having a good day." I've noticed a handful of times where like shortly after that, I'll get like 2 more. And I think it's because those people were lurking and they realized, oh, the alerts are anonymous. Cool. And then they're like, okay, I'm comfortable following, because the
Yeah.
streamer's not going to mention my name and it's not going to show up in chat. So
That's interesting. Yeah, I mean, I'd not thought about it that way, to be honest, but it absolutely makes sense. I mean,
Mm.
lurkers, as I've said, are the lifeblood of any stream. I always, when I talk, and I don't look at who's lurking in my channel when I'm streaming, but I always thank people, even when they're just saying, "I'm going to go and lurk and do something." Thank you for the lurk. The lurk is massively appreciated, because it is. It's a viewer, and it does make a difference. But yeah, I might think more seriously about taking the follower names off my alerts.
yeah, I don't regret the decision. The other nice thing about it too is then there's no pressure on us as streamers to pronounce the name right.
Yeah,
for not saying
exactly.
it.
Oh, I totally forgot about that. Yes, I used to struggle so
Oh,
hard with
man.
that. Wow,
It's
yes.
Yeah.
really nice to not. It's
Yeah.
really nice to have
Uh,
that off your shoulders and not even have to worry
oh,
about it.
wow.
And then if
That's
they
so funny.
and then if they choose to chat and say hi, then at that point you can ask them. I'm sorry, Ella's whining. Then at that point you can ask them like, oh, how do I pronounce your username? Right? Because they've made themselves known in chat. But I've had a lot of followers that have never said anything in chat after. So
So, I'm sorry.
no, I
I'm just
saw
dying.
that.
I'm.
Twiggy.
You're right, then, Ron, do you need a shoey?
I'm crying. I'm sorry. I'm
Ella.
sorry. I'll get. Oh God. Please.
No, I'm crying
Gongo,
because
be
Drongo's
professional.
crying.
So Twiggy. Oh
Twiggy.
fuck. Oh, I'm so sorry. Oh, dear. Normally I don't even read chat. I just happened to look over when she said that and I went, what? And then she like corrected herself. I'm like, oh. Okay. Oh, all right. I'm back in the game.
Oh gosh, that was good.
Whew.
It's the sequel to Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon.
Yeah, that's it. That's it. Ah, perfect. So, Ananda, next on your list. Moving on.
Swiftly moving on. Another bit of etiquette that, again, it seems like it should be a natural thing to do. However, as an etiquette is, oh, Ella, sorry,
Yeah.
give Ella a stickle for me.
Mhm.
Is when you're raiding someone, streamers think very long and hard about who they're going to raid. It's you've worked hard to build your stream up for the day. You've got this lovely community that you want to gently place into someone else's stream. So when you do that, whether it's a channel that the streamer knows very well, whether it's a new channel that you would love to introduce your community to, whether it's a first raid to a channel, your viewers and you as a streamer are representing you when they go over there. So behaving yourself, reading that room as well, and not antagonizing that chat or that streamer is really important when you go in on a raid. I've had situations before where I've raided with another streamer, and a long-time member of the community started saying things that were not acceptable in that chat, and very much painted the streamer in a bad light for bringing this seemingly toxic person into this new chat. So as far as etiquette is concerned, is you are representing the stream that you've just come from. So behave would be my point.
Yeah, that's a great point about raids. Typically, I like when streamers kind of give a heads up to their community about who they're raiding in terms of like the expectation. Like, last night I raided a streamer who goes by they, them pronouns, and I follow them on Twitter, and they've expressed, frustration when, people don't read the rules and then end up, using the wrong pronouns. So, just a helpful thing that if you know that a streamer likes certain things to not be done, like just mention it. Like, when Fraz raided a middle-aged stream the other day, Fraz, we all know, has a family-friendly stream, and Jimbles is literally the complete opposite of that. and so Fraz gave his community the heads up, like, we're raiding somebody that's not family-friendly. So there's going to be swearing, there's going to be adult jokes, like, it's going to be, that kind of community. So I think as streamers, if you're a streamer watching this, that helps that whole thing too, is just, set that expectation moving over to the community that you're sending them to, right? So
Yeah, 100%.
It works same the other way when you're raiding into a family-friendly stream. I mean, it's doubly important just to know, okay, just mind your P's and Q's.
Yeah.
Because, auto mods are great in that situation. However, you don't want to be that person that doesn't point it out, and then the faux pas happen, and then you start cringing and face palming.
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
it does happen, but you can preempt it a lot of the time.
yeah, for sure. I'm definitely somebody who is guilty of occasionally dropping a do you call it a cuss word? Is that the yeah a
Yep,
dropping a
Cuss,
cuss,
swear.
doing a heckin' cuss
Doing a
in a
swear.
family friendly stream and being like, "Ooh, yeah, that wasn't that's not right. Sorry." Yeah. Yeah. So I think if you do accidentally break the rules or anything like that, be remorseful.
hmm
Put your hand up, go, "Yeah, my bad, guys. I did the thing. I'm sorry. Won't happen again."
Yep.
Take it on board.
Yep. Exactly.
Yeah. In fact, KP also raises a point that I also have on my list. Is as a viewer, the streamer will decide who they want to raid.
Mhm.
If they want help and in choosing someone to raid, they will ask. However, it gets awkward when someone suggests someone, and it might be someone you know, someone you love, but you've got an idea in your head as to who you want to raid for a specific reason. And then it looks like you don't want to raid that person. It gets quite political and a little bit awkward. So unless the streamer asks, yeah, don't suggest someone who so and so is live. We can go and raid them because, yeah, it's etiquette.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Hello, Muffin.
All the pets are joining on the Nutcast today.
yeah. She likes being quite vocal, and she heard me talking and wanted to come and say hello to everyone.
Yeah, Ella woke up from nap, is now just staring me down.
I mean, I do have more points, but I'm kind of trying to stick to the main ones, really. One thing that, again, I would put in the etiquette bracket is if a stream isn't playing a game that you like, you don't need to point it out.
Thank you.
Don't like it, just leave. You don't
Yeah.
have to be there. No one is forcing someone to stay even. In the same respect, I mean, yeah, quite. Are you going to play this game again? Yes, I'll play this game on that day. But bitching about a game that someone has chosen to stream, and how much you don't like it and how much you don't want it,
Yeah.
you can leave. You don't have to be there. Don't let the door
And even if you're typing it in a sarcastic or jokey way, not everybody reads it that way. And I think most people would read that as just ruffling feathers. Like, even if it truly doesn't bother you, like, or I don't know, it's hard to say, but yeah, I fully agree with that. I've seen that behavior in chats before where, a streamer will play a game that maybe they haven't played in a while and they're just having like a fun day where they're bringing it back. And yeah, it just like, not every game is going to please every viewer, and we all know that, but it doesn't need to be like, yeah, it's just rude. But I also would say, though, it definitely depends on the streamer as well. And it could depend on that relationship that person has with the streamer. It's better just to not do that kind of stuff to begin with. And then especially don't continue to do it if the streamer has actually like explicitly said, hey, it doesn't feel good when you say that you don't like the game I'm playing right now. Like, just you don't have to shout it out in chat.
Because I mean, it was something that I was thinking about. KL and I did the Dragon Age Day marathon yesterday. And
It was so good.
It was like I had a brilliant time. I loved it. There was a lot of love for the Dragon Age games. It was my first play, so it was my first inroad into any of the Dragon Age games. There is a lot of love for them. However, not everybody likes all of the games. So there were a few people that were saying, I don't like this game, or I don't like Inquisition, or I don't like Dragon Age 2. I only like Dragon Age Origins. and there were other people in chat that were really, really passionate about Dragon Age 2 and Dragon Age Inquisition, and it was kind of raining on their parade as well. So yeah, don't yuck someone else's yum. You don't have to like everything, but you also don't have to point out what you don't like to the people that do.
I love that
I
saying
love that
too.
saying
I
so
do.
much.
I love it.
Doug said that the other day, and I think that was the first time I'd heard it, and I was like, that's a great way of
I think
saying it.
Mhm.
Noom dropped that in my. I feel like it was Noom who dropped that in my stream the other day, and I was just like, immediately took a mental note. I'm just like, I'm so using that.
Mhm.
So good. I love it.
Yeah, that's a good one. And kind of on the flip side of that too, like just with game choice of a streamer, like, you know, yeah, you can like don't be negative about stuff and say like, oh, I don't like this game, so I'm not gonna be here or whatever. But also, and I've seen this in a few different places on Twitch, but it kind of goes the other way too, where streamers almost like excessively push you to play a certain game, and they keep bringing it up and they keep asking like, when are you going to play this? When are you going to play this? When are you going to play this? And like that also on the streamer side
like
can
this-
be annoying.
The viewer
The
asking
viewer.
the streamer.
Yeah.
Right, okay,
Yeah,
yeah.
like consistently pushing like, when are you going to play this game? You should play this, like, you know, and I say excessively because I think if someone does it once or twice, none of us are really going to care too much. It's really just when the person like doesn't let it go. Is when it can kind of, you know, just be like, you don't control me and my game choice here. Like, yeah, I'll take it into consideration, but you know, at least that's the way that I kind of see that behavior.
Absolutely. Plus the repetitive asking the same thing over and over again. The belligerent part of me makes me want to not play it just because they wouldn't take no for an answer.
Right.
Or even if it was on the list and a game that I wanted to play, it's like, no, I'll play something else first, just because you wouldn't shut up about it.
Right.
Yeah. I personally, I don't necessarily have a problem with that. Like I feel like I'm usually pretty direct. If I plan on playing something on stream, I'll say, yep, I plan on playing that at some stage, or,
Mhm.
you know, I'd like to, but, you know, I don't think it'll work for the stream or something like that. You know, I'll usually kind of be pretty direct in communicating that, you know, whether I have any interest in streaming it. And if somebody does, you know, come back, you know, in a week or two and ask, you know, oh, have you, you know, has there been any development in there? I don't mind them asking that.
Right.
And, you know, I guess on the flip side of that as well, you know, I guess, and in the direct reverse of what you guys are talking about, viewers saying, oh, I don't like this game, I don't like watching it or something like that. I actually really like, I find it like one of the biggest compliments you can give as a viewer when somebody's like, I don't know what this game is. I don't know what's happening, but I'm really enjoying myself. You know, things like that. You know, like for example, you know, if I play online, people might be like, "Man, I don't have any interest in this game at all. I'm just here for you." And like that is just like the ultimate, like, I don't know. I find that like such a compliment.
That for
I really
sure.
like that.
That is definitely a compliment. I think it's more of the people that vocally say, I don't like this game, so I'm not going to watch you. That's
Yeah,
where it's like,
for sure.
yeah, that difference. there.
Absolutely.
Yeah. No,
Yeah,
I
for
think
sure.
every streamer would take it as a compliment where, because I definitely watch streamers where I don't really I don't care too much about the game that they're playing. You know, I've watched so many streamers play RimWorld now, and I still have no idea what's going on in RimWorld, and that game still confuses
Yeah.
the crap out of me. But I'm just there for the streamer, and if they happen to be doing a giveaway for a colonist name, I'll be like, yeah, I'll get in there and see if I get my name picked.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, but good point though, and I'm glad you brought that one up.
I haven't got that many more. Do you want to go on to there was one I wanted to touch really, really slightly back on the point about viewers talking about other streamers in chat.
Mhm.
There is a side of that as well, is as a streamer, there is obviously people tend to know you from your stream as well as other chats. In the same vein as bringing up your stream and someone else's chat, if you see another streamer in someone else's chat, don't ask them about their stream. When are you next streaming? because that makes it really awkward. Because you can either answer the question, in which case you're talking about your stream, which is a big no-no, or you can whisper them, which is what I tend to do, saying, please don't ask me in someone else's chat. But you don't actually have to ask the question at all. Join the Discord, have a look at Twitter, have a look at their schedule. There is no reason to ask that question in someone else's chat, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Yeah, I hadn't even thought about that. I've probably done that to some Nook people. Sorry
I mean,
if I have.
within the Nook, it's slightly different because let's face it, we all talk about each other's streams in the Nook anyway. I mean, I'm talking about in some. I mean, the Nook is its own beautiful little bubble. I don't think the same rules. I don't think the same rules apply in other teams because it is just such a close knit, tight group of people that literally anyone comes into someone else's stream. You know what game they've been playing. You know their community. You know that you're going to have those conversations anyway. So someone else. So like KL comes into my stream and I'm immediately asking her how her Dragon Age 2 run's going. So someone asking her in chat when she's next going to be streaming, absolutely fine.
Right.
Yeah, true.
I'm talking about when you're in someone else's chat, they're not focused on you, they're focused on the game, they're reading what's going on in chat, and someone immediately asks you when you're next streaming. And I find that quite awkward myself, from a personal point of view. Whether the streamers noticed it or the mods have noticed it anyway, it puts you in quite an awkward position as a streamer.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
Lenzo-
personally, I hadn't even thought of that, but yeah, that's a very valid point. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Lenzo just says, what if you asked how somebody's stream went? I guess if the streamer in question is a frequent chat visitor, it kind of feels natural. But with some others, I could see it feel like the kind of promotion you wouldn't want. It depends. Like
Yeah.
if I'm the streamer and someone comes in and I know they've just been streaming, if I'm asking how their stream went, then yes, other people in chat can do it. But if someone pops in and another chatter all of a sudden just starts asking them like, oh, how was your stream? How'd it go? Like, that's a little bit like, then my question becomes like, you could be talking to them in Discord DMs or even Twitch whispers. Like if you're wanting to have a direct conversation with them about something, like take it out of chat. Like sometimes it gets very confusing as a streamer when chat's having their own conversations with themselves in your chat, and it's just like, okay, which messages are meant for me and who's responding to somebody else, and so it kind of can end up just getting part of that overall. But yeah, Jimmy, you make a good point. It's all part of reading the room too, and if you're not like, I think the best advice to follow, and this will probably segue actually really well into like chatter and viewer etiquette do's, is where it's like, if the thought comes to your brain, like, would this be okay? Just err on the side of caution. Don't do it in the chat.
Yeah.
Maybe DM the streamer after to ask them if that's something they'd be okay with, or just save it for Discord. Like, honestly, like my Twitter chat rules are a lot more strict than my Discord rules. Like in Discord, I don't care if we're talking about someone else's stream. Like, I don't have a self-promotion section in my Discord technically, but like if one of my community members happens to like bring up something about their stream, like I'm not gonna berate them for that in the Discord, right? It's just with Twitch, it's different because anyone can come into the stream, right? And there could be people that are there that aren't part of the Discord. It's a lot of the stuff we're talking about is definitely like it can depend on the streamer, which
absolutely, and also how well the streamer knows the people chatting. So, for example, as I say, the Nook is its own little bubble of wonderfulness. So, kind of the same rules don't apply. But when as Triggy says, I don't really have much of a problem with streamers that I know talking to each other in my chat. I love the fact that they're chatting. It doesn't bother me at all. It was more of the I don't like being on the other end of that. If someone unless the streamer actually asks me how my stream's gone, I don't mention my stream in anybody else's chat at all. I don't mention that I've played the game they're playing. I don't mention, even if it's relevant, I don't mention anything that will imply that I stream at all, even in chats that I moderate in, and or chats that I'm very well known in. It's just, it makes me feel awkward, I think.
For sure. Yeah, absolutely. I totally get that. I mean, I will pretty much go out of my way a lot of the time not to mention my stream or talk about my stream unless I'm directly asked. And I think that's, in general, a pretty good rule of thumb unless you're super familiar with that streamer.
I mean, a
Yeah.
good way to go about it if you're trying to connect on like a particular game that you love, or like having played whatever they're playing, like don't talk to them as a streamer, talk to them as somebody who's played the game. Like, I'm also a gamer that enjoyed this game, or you don't, I mean, don't be obvious like that,
Absolutely.
but like, that was just, I mean, at the end of the day, sure we stream, but we're also, one of the things we do is we play the game. So just connect on that level. It's
Yep.
totally doable that way.
Yeah, absolutely. And and again, it's kind of back to one of the first points is read the room. It doesn't take long to get a feel as to what chat's like, that how the streamer is talking about the game, whether they're quite focused, whether chat are talking amongst themselves. It is very much there is not one hard and fast rule, which is why it's more etiquette as opposed to the rules, because
And that's
everyone-
why it's worth talking about, right? Because
Mhm.
it's it's so open to personal interpretation and personal preference. So many of these points.
Yeah. Another, actually, I just thought of this. I don't know if this was anywhere on your list, Ananda, but again, this could go streamer to streamer, but I think generally speaking, most people are on the same page. But if it's a busier chat and your comment happens to not get read out loud by the streamer, go ahead and copy and paste it maybe a second time. Again, you could ask a mod kind of what the expectation is. Don't excessively tag the streamer in every single message you post in chat, because that just gets annoying for us. And then as well, like, don't excessively copy and paste your message. Like, I know it feels nice to have your comment read out loud. I think generally speaking, though, like, I wish I could read every single one of my messages in my chat. I really do, but I can't. Otherwise, I would never play the game that I'm playing. And all of my streams would be just chatting streams. So, as a viewer, be okay with not having every single one of your comments read all the time, is what I would say. Thanks, Noom.
I think I generally, like, really, really diligently try to read every comment, which is sometimes more difficult than others. But what really personally gets my goat is when somebody accuses me of deliberately missing their message and why are you ignoring me? I'm like, dude, if I didn't read your comment on purpose, there's a reason for it. And two, I genuinely don't ignore people. Like, if I had an issue with you, I would have said something like that's like personally for me, something that really irks me. And I know there's a few of my regulars in the stream here, so don't even start thinking about trying to pull that on me next time I go
I'm just
live.
going to write down how much I'm going to go to chat on Monday in my notebook, so it's going to happen.
Oh dear.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah, I've fallen into, there has been a few times where I've accidentally like read someone's comment in my head, and this happens all the time. I'll read it. I will not actually read it out loud. And then like a little bit of time will go by, and then I'll be like, oh crap, I totally read their comment. I just didn't read it out loud. And I apologize and I say, like, I read it. I'm sorry, I just didn't. But yeah, thankfully, like, I'm so grateful that I've cultivated a community that is totally fine with me missing messages. I'm so happy about that. Because I've definitely been in other communities where people will just be like they'll be personally offended if a streamer misses their message, and it sometimes breaks my heart for the streamer. But but again, too, like this isn't a one size fits all rule. There are some streamers that don't mind being tagged. There are some streamers that definitely encourage you to copy and paste your comment multiple times if it's missed. It all just depends on the pace of the chat, what the streamer wants. But I feel like, though, it is a good general blanket rule to just let new viewers know, like, it's not you, you know, like streamers aren't, you know, we don't intentionally miss your comments.
I mean, it is multitasking, and it's not always, especially if you're in a fast-paced game, which I never am, so I really don't have that excuse. It's trying to multitask, and you've got chat moving. Especially if it's moving fast, it is quite difficult to concentrate on a game. And read chat and come up with an answer and not miss anything, and it's a juggling act, and it's something that you get better at as you do it more. But people getting a bit annoyed about it. It's not a personal slight on you if a streamer misses your message. In the same vein, constant shouty capitals don't help. They don't make your message stand out more. It just gets a bit annoying after a while. I mean, for a little bit of effect, a bit funny. But doing it all the time, just to stand out a little bit more, attention grabbing. It's bad form.
Yeah. Twiggy makes a good point in that, you know, if a mod is handling somebody, whether it's by timeout or ban, and it's been like a serious offense, like it's not just a joke timeout or whatever, don't bring attention to it. Just talk about whatever you were talking about. Don't bring attention to somebody that has put nonsense in the chat. You know, you don't even really have to say things like, oh, I missed something, like what happened. It's like, we're not going to draw attention to it. Just that was their goal anyway by doing that, so it's best just to ignore it.
Yeah, absolutely. Otherwise you're just feeding the trolls.
Yeah, exactly. Should we talk about some positive etiquette aspects?
I
I feel like we spent a lot of time focusing on negative things. How about we
well, we intentionally wanted to start off with the don'ts and finish on a high note with the do's. Yes. All right.
Yeah.
I'll start with one. One thing, and again, this is going to be streamer, not every streamer is going to like this, but one thing that I love when chat does, and it's like something that I don't even necessarily like tell chat to do, but when, you know, someone comes in and says, hey everyone, and like for me as a viewer, if I go into someone's stream and I just go, hey, how's it going, and like 6 people tag me and go, hey KL, what's up, hey KL, how's it going, like I love that so much. It's like you've entered a living room and there's a party going on, and it's wonderful.
And welcomed.
Yes. So welcoming, so inclusive. So if you are just a chatter, like you don't even have to be a mod or a subscriber. Like if you're a viewer in someone's stream and someone comes in and says hi, like say hi to them. Like you're involving yourself in that community. And that is like one of the best do's that you could do. And it's the same when someone leaves, saying goodbye, have a good night, have a good sleep, all that kind of stuff.
Absolutely. I think that's something that, as a streamer, you notice in the chat, the people who do that, and man, like you super appreciate that, because it makes the whole stream like that much more welcoming and enjoyable, and just a nicer place to be. So yeah, if you do that on Twitch streams, man, you MVP for sure.
Yeah, absolutely, 100%. It is like the big capitals on the do column that I've got is it is. In order to create a friendly environment, you want those social interactions. It is like inviting your friends into your house for a party whilst you play games. It's essentially that. I mean, with 2020 being the way it is, this is how everybody's doing it, not just the streamers. But yeah, having that kind of social interaction, saying hello, asking how someone's day is, which is why I also love the hug commands, because when someone's having a bad day, everyone rallies a little bit, and that's where you get a community rather than just viewers.
Another thing too that's awesome as a viewer, and it can actually be very helpful for the moderating team, is I've played some games on stream where I have mods that have never played the game, so they can't help with the whole no spoiler, no backseating thing, just because they don't know what's coming. But if you as a viewer, if you have played the whole game and you know what's coming, you can help by identifying maybe if someone comes in with a spoiler. So that would be an awesome do as well, is just like help the mods enforce the streamers' rules. And actually, if you're ever interested in modding for someone one day, naturally doing that's going to get noticed by the streamer, and then you could possibly be DM'd one day by that streamer and be like, hey, you do a really good job of being like a stand-up community member, like would you mind modding for me? I have definitely done that with my own community, so
Yeah, absolutely. And it does also it helps the streamer as well, because if you can't read every chat in if you can't read every message in chat, having people answering those questions, maybe if they have a question about the channel, and you've got a regular in that knows the answer. So how do the mini games work? How do the giveaways work? What's the policy on can I post a clip? I mean, this is all stuff where if your community are also engaging with each other, it does make everyone feel so welcome, and they will remember that when they next come into chat, because it's always that you're a new viewer, you've come into a brand new stream where they don't know you, and you say that first tentative hi, and then people welcome you in. It really does make a difference and makes you feel welcome and makes you want to chat more and stay more, which doesn't just benefit the streamer, obviously it benefits the relationships and the networking that goes on outside of there. And you see that person in someone else's channel, it's like, oh hi, I remember you. And it is, and that's one thing that our communities do really, really well.
Yeah.
Really well.
Yeah.
Makes me so proud of them.
Oh, I know, it's fantastic. Yeah. I saw Fearless's comment in chat, and I just want to touch on it. They said, I feel that's tough because the streams I watch are also well moderated, that I feel like if it hasn't been moderated, there's a good reason for it, and generally there's no issues. I would say yes, for sure. Kind of like more what I was getting at is, I've had mods admit that like they've never played the game, and they let the community know that, so that, if there happens to be like someone that comes in with just like a blatant spoiler, or even someone new that asks a question. The other thing too that I should probably, like, this is my community, but I know that there's streamers that always make sure that a mod's in chat. I definitely have periods where I don't have any of my mods in chat with me.
Yeah,
so for something like, a new viewer coming in and kind of not sure what's going on, it helps to have like established community members just like welcome them in and answer their questions, maybe if I'm in like a big fight where I can't focus on the chat right now. It's not necessarily stepping in to moderate as an established viewer or just any kind of viewer, but more just I don't know, just helping be like show the new viewer what the community is all about by just acting in that wholesome way, I guess. So
embodying the vibe of the stream.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And also the streamer's ethics and how they want their stream to be as well. It's very deputy mods. Yeah, exactly. I mean, I'm a moderator in a few channels, and there are definitely games that I don't know, so I can't point out I don't know what's a spoiler and what's not. It makes you fearful because you kind of err on the side of caution. Someone makes an offhanded joke that I don't know if it's a spoiler, so to err on the side of caution, I'll delete the message and say, was that a joke? If it was, you can post it again and I won't delete it this time. But if it wasn't, then no spoilers. It's a very fine line, but again, having people that are well versed in the games, it does help, especially as well as a streamer. if you get to the point where you want some hints and tips, someone that doesn't volunteer that information but knows the game, I know that I can go to someone in chat and go, I know you know this game, right? Can you give me, I'm stuck at this puzzle, can you give me just the slyest hint to point me in the right direction? And trust them that they'll do that rather than just flat out give me the answer.
Right. Another do is, and this one might take a while to learn the in and outs of someone's stream. And I'll fully admit that there are streamers that I've spent many hours in that I still don't know the full ins and outs of their stream. But, many streamers will have a bunch of like super fun commands, maybe some sound commands, or just any kind of, fun chat things. It's like, get yourself involved with that kind of stuff. It's super fun. I love when people in my community use the alerts that I've, spent time setting up and have made fun. Same thing with channel points, like we've set up things for a reason that we want you to redeem them. So yeah, integrate yourself that way. Definitely make chat fun with that. Don't be excessive with things. I mean, I think most streamers will set cooldowns and stuff on things that they don't want spammed out, right? But yeah.
I love every
use our
time
stuff.
that I've been able to raid into Noom's stream, because every time the raid happens, almost immediately somebody will set off a redemption. And so it's the best introduction for the people that are coming into the channel to know that those things are there. I mean, there's instant curiosity because of that. I mean, in addition to Noom's amazing raid greeting, but um yeah, it's really cool when the community is kind of celebrating the cool things that you have set up, like you were talking about.
Mhm.
Yeah, absolutely. And in the same way as welcoming people in when they come into chat, welcoming in raiders and like
Yeah.
cheersing people when they resub, and cheersing people when they give bits and
Yeah. Putting hype and
it-
emotes in
it's
chat and stuff. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
it is a real community feel where you're also thanking the participation of a raid or a subscription on behalf of the streamer because you're excited that they're doing it. It just makes the whole community feel it's that friendliness and that love, and I just want to squish them all in the best way, like consensually, of course.
Of course.
Oh dear. Yeah. Yeah.
I also love when I love seeing when like someone new comes into the community and like the community is very welcoming to them. I love seeing like a non-mod go !Discord and like putting my Discord link in the chat for that new person. It's just like, oh, thank you.
Or a streamer is saying, Fraz is a really good example. He does 100% playthrough. So someone's talking about the games he's completed. There are so many, but !100%, and there's a list of games that he's completed and ones that are left to play.
Mhm.
And that's somewhat anyone can type that command, but new viewers wouldn't know it. So it's that way of helping chat along or giving them information about what the channel points are, especially people that are new to Twitch as well.
Mhm.
What are these channel points? What can I do with them?
Yeah.
It's a very wholesome way of not only integrating yourself more with the community and with the new viewers, but also it's just a friendly thing to do.
Yeah.
It's just a friendly thing to do.
One thing that I was kind of going to like add on to that is I don't know if anyone else feels this way. When I go to someone's stream, it's weird, even if it's someone that I've been to before, if they put new commands in the stream title for the day, so let's say that they're starting a new game or whatever, or they've got like this new thing happening and they've put a brand new command in the stream title. For whatever reason, I feel so nervous to use it just because I don't know what's going to happen. So if you have So if I were to come into the stream and, you know, you're somebody that has been there for 2 hours and you know what that command does, like for someone that's just come into the stream for the first time today, like go throw it in. Like you could like throw it in for them, and then I don't know why I have this like weird anxiety around that, like not wanting to use a command that I don't
I'm
know
the,
what
I'm the
it's gonna
same.
do.
Do you still have the same apprehension if it's like relatively obvious to what the command does? Like, is it
I don't
just if
know.
it's like really vague, or is it
Yeah.
just because it's a new command, or like because that's
Yeah.
something I've never even considered being a point of,
And this is
I
like,
guess,
and this is,
anxiety.
and I just want to emphasize, like, maybe this is just me, and I don't know if it's like across the platform kind of thing. But yeah, yeah, like if I don't, it's when the command is kind of vague, that like if
Sure.
it's, yeah, you know,
I actually experienced it during your Bloody Drongo's 3-year anniversary stream, where you had a command for how much bits and whatnot would add to it, but I still didn't feel 100% comfortable using it, even though I knew what it would do. It was just like, I don't know. It's yeah, I can totally relate though.
Yeah,
I
right.
think
Like,
it kind of goes to the same thing as an anonymous follow alert, right?
sure.
Where, you know, we don't, it's like our name would be associated with that. And I don't know, like that's the analogy I'm making into like the similar feelings. But, I don't know. It's just one of those things where it's just like, you know, if someone's, yeah, and someone just commented in the chat, scared of commands. There you go. So, some people might just have this like anxiety around using them. So if someone is coming into the chat for the first time today and there happens to be a new command that was set up for that stream, like if you know what it does, then just go in and throw it in, like to let that person know, like, here, this is what's going on today, or this is what this is, or,
Yeah.
you know.
It could be an event, it could be a new sound command, it could be something that sets off better points. You never know.
Right.
Small plug. It could be anything. And being able to see it in action does make people more comfortable to use it. And then you'll find that once the cooldown, they'll work out what the cooldown is, and then for the next few hours, people will be using the command. But it's always that fear of the unknown, especially if it's a new channel, or if you're new to Twitch, or if you've generally been a lurker but you want to come out of lurk and start interacting more. It is that initial step, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
No, obviously
Yeah.
this goes to show like as streamers, like don't stop using commands just because people might not want to use them. Like commands definitely have a place and will not stop using them. But yeah, like I don't know, sometimes like I know in past streams, like I've definitely done that where, you know, I know what a command does, so I'll just go ahead and put it in the chat for the 2 people that just came in or whatever. So
But it's nice. Again, it's a community feel. It's where someone is not hand holding someone else, but it's like it is a way of welcoming someone in. It's like this is what we can do here. This is another thing we can do here. This is another thing we can do here. Have fun. It is very much a community friendly, positive thing to do, I think.
Yeah.
Another thing that I think is a good do as a viewer is just don't be afraid to ask questions. Especially with streamers that use a camera. You know, I've definitely had moments on stream where I may have looked a certain way, and having the community members, having some of them just kind of check in on me, or just making sure that like encouraging me to do truly what I want to, I guess. So I'm trying to think of like a good example of this. You know, if I've had certain like fights in games where I've been getting like really frustrated with not being able to like finish it, or I'll get frustrated with myself, and having people that are not moderators or maybe not even subs, but just, people encouraging like, hey, like, take a break if you need it, those kind of comments go a long way in terms of just like general caring for the well-being of the streamer.
Yeah.
And that you're not just here for like, yes, we're here for your entertainment, but at the same time, like, it goes a little bit beyond that, right? Like, I think most like awesome community members and most people will always put the streamer above all and will encourage breaks and encourage like maybe switching things up or whatever. But yeah, I just wanted to bring up that one is like, don't be afraid to check in, I guess, and encourage those.
Yeah, I mean,
know.
we're streamers at the end of the day. We are trying to put out content. We're trying to put out entertainment. However, it is very it's very caring and fulfilling when chat also want to make sure that the streamer's okay. Have you eaten today? Right, we'll go. Have you had it's been 2 hours since you had a last bathroom break. Maybe you should go and stretch and get up from your chair and hydrate, take your meds, stretch, go to the bathroom, have something to eat. It is sometimes as a streamer, you just want to be like entertaining as possible, and you feel guilty that you have to go to the toilet for the second time in 4 hours.
Right.
It is also nice to get that affirmation from chat as well.
We all need to get in the habit of Lexi, who takes a 5-minute break every hour. She is like on top of her game when it comes to breaks.
I'm trying to be. For me, it's an hour and a half, or 2 hours. If I don't hit the hour and a half, I have to hit the 2 hours.
I know we have more goods that we can talk about, or more yeses.
I have a do.
Go ahead, Space Shark.
So mine is like more. I don't know if it's a preference or I think it would help a lot of. It helps. It will help streamers. It'll help you communicate better. If I know there's been times when I'm playing a game and I can, maybe my attention I've in the past 2 minutes talked about 5 different subjects. And then I look in the chat and it's like, yeah, I agree. And it's just like, oh, okay. Like just, I think having like this, just thinking about how you pose I've been trying really hard myself as a viewer trying to do this. Just giving a very slight nod to what you're talking about. Like, oh, I agree that was the best way to do that. Like just giving some background to what you're referring to can help ease confusion, which is one of the best things you can do as a viewer is to not make
Right.
things confusing or not contribute to it. Not that it's on purpose, but I guess I can confuse really easily. So I appreciate when there's any attempt to make things less confusing.
Well, there's also that chat delay, right? And sometimes
Yeah.
conversations can change so quickly, or like there's been cases where, I've gone on a spiel about a certain topic for like a good 5 minutes. And then I'll focus on chat and I'll start reading back and someone will be like, yep, totally agreed. And I'm just like, to what point? Like it could have been any of those things we just talked about in the last 5 minutes. Like, okay, cool.
How was that message? What did I say? I can't remember.
Yeah.
I'm notorious for that. Like, especially when I get into like a fairly beefy topic about, whatever. And I might be like literally 20 minutes behind on chat because I kind of want to have like go through and verbalize that whole, conversation and discussion. And then I'll get to a certain comment and I'll be like, I don't know what this is talking about anymore. That absolutely is a big positive, is kind of being a little bit more specific in your comment, so there's context for the streamer, is definitely something you can do as a viewer, which is very, very helpful.
Absolutely.
I think also in the same vein of trying to alleviate some confusion, as mentioned earlier, there was talk of not wanting to be, added constantly as a streamer. But on the opposite side of the spectrum is you could, when you're having side conversations, continually tagging the person that you're actually talking to. Which I don't know, it's kind of a preference thing if you feel comfortable doing that or if it calls for that in the situation. But I know that there have been, like, I can think of an example where there was a side conversation going on in my chat And then somebody didn't tag that they were replying to the person that they were talking to, and they said, "Oh, what's your Steam?" And so I replied, about what my Steam account was, and was like, "Oh, I wasn't really talking to you." And then it was awkward, like, and it was fine, like it was all fine. But again,
So
it's like alleviating that confusion is so good, so big for me.
Yeah, for sure. Absolutely. Yeah, completely agree.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You
definitely.
can either tag them or in certain chats, because for whatever reason the reply feature is not available for me in every single stream, but there is that reply feature that we all didn't like when it first came out, but I think does serve a purpose. It serves a very good purpose.
I like it a lot better now, I think. I don't have it in every stream either. I have it in some. It's a little weird.
Yeah, I don't think I have it. Do I?
I
Maybe
believe I
do.
do.
I don't know.
Mine.
If I do, I don't use it. But yeah, I don't know.
Yep.
I think for me personally, I'm one of those streamers that doesn't mind. I love it when people have like little side conversations in the chat, because I think it kind of adds to the I guess the community feel. It's
Mm.
not like just a communication between me as the streamer and then them as the viewer, but like a conversation between people. Like I really like that that aspect of things for sure.
Yeah.
I do as
So
well.
and that makes things so much more clearer as well. So
That
yeah.
happens a lot in my stream just because of the games I play. Like, especially with Dragon Age 2 right now. I mean, vast majority of the people in my community have already played the game and, know what's coming. So they'll tend to have conversations amongst themselves without, including spoilers, just on the off chance I happen to actually actively read what they're saying, which my eyes tend to skim across those conversations a little bit. So, but yeah, super fun.
It's when people start. I've had conversations where people are talking to each other about coding. It's like this just goes straight over my head. I'll just skim read until I actually understand. I understand 3 of those 10 words. I'll just skim read this until you're finished. But I love the fact that they're interacting and chatting with each other and obviously really engaged in the conversation. I have no problem with it at all.
Yeah, absolutely. I've got one if people are happy for
Go
me
for it.
to
Yeah.
I'm
go
putting my
in.
notepad away. I've talked too much already.
So I guess for me, like I make a very conscious effort to be very open with my um f- not feedback necessarily, but my praise of people when I see them doing something right or something that I like, like Shorky, I love your audio and your voice and everything. It's so rich and so depth. And Nanda, I love your interactions on your streams. They're so enjoyable and you really take the time to get involved with them. And KL, I love your enthusiasm when you're playing when you're playing a new game and you're getting absorbed into it and you're discovering it. So infectious. I'm a massive believer in giving genuine heartfelt like feedback and compliments, and I think as streamers lifting up other people, and also as viewers, just when a streamer is doing a good job, when they are doing something really well, letting them know, because that makes such a big difference. That it is just, it's probably one of the best things that you can do. And honestly, like, on the occasions where people do, say those really nice things like, "Oh, I really enjoyed today's stream. You did such a good job. So entertaining," or "Thank you so much today." Like, that's such a little mood booster. Yeah, makes such a big difference.
Yeah, definitely. With
And
me
it-
being
it
with
also-
me
Sorry, carry on.
no worries. With me being newer to games, there's definitely certain points of a game where I have come to a point that I'm struggling with, and I've had to try over and over again, and I have one viewer in particular that always says things like "nice try," like "oh, you were so close that time." And that can be just so encouraging and helpful to have that. And then when I do eventually get it, then just having that like congratulations and praise in the chat of like, yeah, like good job, you did it, you made it. Like, yeah, it's especially as someone like newer. Because there's definitely moments where I've just been frustrated and wanting to like yeet the controller across the room. Just be like, I'm done. I can't get this.
Yeah.
It really
So,
does make you feel like you're in it together. You're in it
Yeah.
together, doesn't it? Like win or fail, you're in it together.
yeah.
The GGs, the nice tries, the hype when you manage to do it. It genuinely means a lot, and it does make a huge amount of difference rather than you just face palming all the time.
Yes. Yes, for sure. No, that's a good point, Jargo. I'm glad you brought that one up.
Mm-hmm.
Anything
I
else?
wrote down a lot of negative ones. I mean, we've covered a lot of the positive. I mean, you know what it's like? It's like, oh, well, I mean, I know that people get pissed off with that. And this, all the stuff I wrote down doesn't necessarily apply to me and my channel. But I was thinking, okay, well, I know that some people don't like that and that
Right.
and that. But we've covered a lot of that. The positive stuff is, it's just really, I mean, it's integrating yourself into a community. I mean, it's
Yeah.
not really etiquette as such. Are we talking about welcoming people into chat? But it's things like welcoming someone back from a break, or
Mhm.
or welcoming someone out of lurk, or someone's come back from their dinner. What did you have for dinner? It's that social interaction. It's that community feel. It's that friendly environment that, as a streamer, you genuinely try to cultivate and foster in your stream, and having
Right.
the assistance of your chat who want to be there and want to be part of that community and want to have the same friendly feel are 100% responsible for that as much as the streamer. We can police it, but can't put words into your mouth. It is and it's genuinely wholesome and so lovely to see when chat does interact in that way and does support you in that way and does support the rest of the community in that way, and it makes it such a pleasure to stream as well.
Yeah. Dude asked a good question. What do you think about viewers answering other viewers' questions? When I do that, it sometimes feels like it kind of takes away an opportunity for the streamer to interact with chat a bit. I will piggyback on to what Noom said. Noom said, I think a good streamer will only appreciate that and still be able to find some interaction either by adding on to your response, thanking you, etc. 100%. I personally don't find anything wrong with someone in my community answering a question that someone else has asked. I typically will piggyback off of it and I'll thank the person for answering the question, and then I'll add on to it, basically. Like, because I don't think that the viewer will answer it like 100%, but it gives me an opportunity to just keep did I literally just do what we're talking about? Yeah. But that's good. No, it gives a really good opportunity to literally explain exactly what we mean. Like, Noom, yes, thank you for answering Dude's question. We're just going to expand on that a little bit. Anyway.
I mean, case in point, you were able to expand on Noom's point and reiterate, and everyone felt included. Big tick in everyone's boxes.
That's so funny.
I feel like Twitch chat is so rarely wrong that it's never an issue for me.
Actually, a do that I have, a really good do that we need to talk about is kind of going back to the don'ts a little bit. But if you do something in a chat that you don't realize the streamer doesn't particularly care for, right? Like, let's say it's a genuine mistake, and going back to benefit of the doubt, like, yes, let's give people the benefit of the doubt. So if you as a viewer do something and the streamer or the mod says out loud to you, like, hey, don't do that, or like, this is why, then don't do it again. Like, you know, now I understand that mistakes can happen and things can slip up, but you know, generally speaking, like, don't be somebody that the streamer and the mod has to tell you multiple times to stop doing. Like, I have definitely had to ban somebody before because they kept giving me tip after tip after tip after tip, backseating, and I had told them, I think twice, like, hey, I appreciate a tip here and there, but you're like getting really excessive and I don't appreciate that. And actually, like, saying it out loud. And then I think after like the 5th or 6th time, I finally, like, across multiple streams, I was over it. I'm like, hey, you're out. Like, I don't want to have to keep telling you that I don't appreciate what you're doing. So that's a do, is just like respect being told not to do something
Yeah. Hold your hands up, apologize, don't do
Yeah.
it again.
Honestly, with most of my backseaters, like I still have people in my community that, you know, there's someone that in the past I had to tell them like, hey, I don't appreciate this, blah, blah, blah. Honestly, most people will be like, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. We're good. Totally fine. And I appreciate that. Like, then you know they're good people.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
totally.
Another. Sorry, my cat's just.
That's
What are you
okay.
doing?
Ella's whining so bad and has for the last like hour. I'm sorry if you guys have heard her when I've been talking. I think my noise gate keeps her out when I'm not talking, but when I am, I think it picks her up. So I'm sorry.
No, well, I had a point, and then Muffin did something, and I completely lost my point. So apologies. It was going to be profound and brilliant. You'd have loved it.
Well,
No
if you
doubt.
remember it, let us know. Jump in.
I don't think it was that brilliant. But yeah, I think that the whole etiquette thing, there is no cut and dry, hard and fast rules. I mean, Drongo's rules of don't be a dick. I think that is pretty much it. But I mean, expanding on details is down to streamer and mods, and with help of community to try and educate people on, rather than enforce in like a bullwhip sense. But yeah, I think chat are helpful in respect that they can also help form a community and the right vibe and the friendliness and the sense of a place where people want to come and spend time.
Yep.
I think as well, like for us as streamers and streamers in general, I think a lot of the time, you know, the way that you know, present yourself day in, day out, and the type of energy that you bring to your streams plays a big part in, you know, the types of people that will find your streams attractive and will want to stick around. And, you know, if you embody the type of behavior and the type of interactions that you want to see, I think that will go a long way to, you know, getting that kind of interaction there. If you're somebody who says, oh, well, you know, I want no toxicity here, and then you're playing a lot of it like first person shooters, for example, and then you're just like talking shit and being really toxic to, you know, the other people playing the game, then you're probably not, you know, representing your stream in the best way, and you're not embodying the type of behavior that you want to
Yeah.
actually have in your stream. So, you know, being conscious of that aspect, I think is you know, fairly important.
Be the leader. Be like, yeah, demonstrate
Yeah,
exactly what you're
absolutely.
looking
Yeah.
for, and people, yeah, yeah, that's it. You can't yourself be swearing up and down like crazy and then expect chat to not like if you have a rule that's like, you know, I don't want swearing in my chat, but then you yourself are swearing, like chat's gonna be like, well, what the fuck? You know?
Yeah. Kind of embody the stream that you want. It's we were talking earlier about small faux pas when you first start streaming and you're in other people's channels. I came at streaming from the other end of the scale, so I was a viewer and moderator way before I even thought about streaming. And you portray yourself as people didn't know me as a streamer because they'd only seen my name in chat. They didn't know what I looked like. They didn't know what games I played, because they just knew me as a community member. The flip side of that is that when I started streaming, the people that I'd already interacted with knew the kind of person I was and knew probably the kind of stream that I'd have. And you kind of reap what you sow in that respects. The way that you portray yourselves on stream and in chat is kind of your calling card on Twitch. In my opinion, you can't hide behind text in chat. It's quite literally black and white. So yeah, in my opinion, I think that it is not just your stream that you're representing, it's every other stream that you're representing yourself in.
Yep.
There we go. That's
100%.
my thought of the day. It's late.
Yeah, looking at the time, I feel like we have covered a ton of stuff. And I saw my mom comment earlier that she was never going to remember any of this. That is fine. We will help you. It's all
By
good.
fact, I'm known for it. I do apologise. You're never going to invite me on the podcast again, are you?
No, this was wonderful, honestly. Ananda, I'm like really thrilled that you came so prepared with a bunch of different talking points because I feel like with something like this, at least for me, sometimes it's really hard to sit down and actually make a list. Like, I think that the thoughts for myself come more to me naturally when I'm having a conversation, right? So, like, as we're talking about one aspect, then all of a sudden my brain will think of another one. So I really like that you kind of led this in a sense with like your list and your talking points. I really appreciate that you did that. Thank you.
It definitely helps to carry through the people that wake up 15 minutes before the stream starts and are totally unprepared.
You need another breakfast shoey, Drongo.
Oh no.
What is
No,
a
thank you.
breakfast?
I'm
What is a
okay.
breakfast shoey? Is it like orange juice in a shoe?
Oh, mate.
Or
Yeah, this was something that we cooked up specially for the
oh
24-hour
no,
stream
what did you do?
because oh,
I
am I
missed
allowed to
it.
say?
Go ahead.
Oh man, it was an Irish coffee with muesli and just bourbon.
In a shoe.
Just neat bourbon in a shoe. Yeah,
For those of you
it
Yes.
wasn't good. In case anybody's wondering, it wasn't good. I've decided that hot drinks are now vetoed from shoeys. It's not conducive.
I would never put a hot drink in a shoe. For those of you that don't know what a shoey is, it is a very Aussie thing where you pour any kind of beverage into a shoe and drink the beverage out of said shoe.
Mm-hmm.
And Drongo does them a lot on his stream. So if you want to witness an awesome shoey, go follow Bloody Drongo.
It became a lot of donation goals for the Nook Summer Charity Festival as well. I myself did too.
I still
You
haven't
You
done one.
absolute legend.
I have never.
I still haven't
Or
done
as
one
we'd
either.
say in the circles, you absolute leg end.
I did. Well, I had to do it like out of a bright red high heeled shoe, obviously, because why wouldn't you?
It's not for everybody. It's not for everybody, and that's okay. So,
Drongo, my
no.
mother would like to know, do you actually keep wearing the shoe after?
Well, not immediately after. That would just be silly. That'd be impractical. But yeah, of
But-
course. Yeah, absolutely. Of course you wear it. You just let it, you maybe give it a rinse and then you just let it dry out and yeah, off you go.
And for the ultimate shoey, you should be using a shoe that you have worn before.
Oh yeah, it's not a true shoey. It's a like a pretend shoey, like a phantom shoey, if you will. If you haven't worn it before, but I know that that's more palatable to some people. But,
Yeah.
I feel like we've gotten very off track here. Which
A little
is should we? And now I'm just like, oh god, because I know some people absolutely hate it. Should we open ourselves up to some questions, KL?
Yes.
Before we wrap things up.
Yes. If anyone has any questions for us that we maybe did not address at all in the podcast, this is now your time. We will answer questions in chat for a bit. And then we will wrap up by sending you all to a lovely Nook streamer. So let us know. And if we covered everything, that means we did an excellent job.
Obviously.
Will anyone do a shoey on stream right now? That's going to be a no from me.
That's going to be a no from me, although I do still have my shoey shoes. They're still in my office. I haven't worn them since, but I do still have them here. Won't happen.
What was your sorry if I missed a question earlier, you're gonna have to put it back in chat. I'm sorry. I'm not scrolling back up. I have no idea how far ago. And also in answer to the question, I'm sorry. No, I'm not gonna do a shoe this morning. I'm not a dancing monkey. I'm gonna do it on my own terms.
Mm-hmm. As you should. As you should. Well, there's plenty of clips of Drongo shoey, so if you go to his channel and sort the clips, I'm sure you'll find many that you can watch.
Mhm.
Oh, okay. So, all right. So there's a question in chat. Why is my beard so soft? Beard balm,
Um,
balm.
Faithfully
There you go.
says, "Do you feel pressured to remember viewers? I never expect to be remembered, but I see some ask if they are remembered." Honestly, I don't have a problem remembering people, even people that prefer to go by their IRL name. Um, Now, that being said, if somebody came into my stream back in like April, let's say, and they haven't been back since, and they come and comment in my chat today, I'm probably not going to remember them, like truthfully. um, but if you're a consistent viewer in chat and you're always saying at least something, like, again, this is just me though. Like I don't have a very strong short-term memory, but I haven't had an issue very often with remembering people. What
Yeah,
about you guys?
I would say the same. I'm pretty good at remembering people, particularly people that are fairly active. Even if they haven't been around for a while, if they've been active previously, I can pretty much remember most people. My channel isn't as large as Drongo's, for example, though, so I don't know if you would have the same issues. But on the same vein, but I mean, nothing to do with etiquette. My big issue is learning how to pronounce people's names properly.
Yeah.
I'm absolutely devastated when I realise that I've mispronounced someone's name, possibly someone that's been in the stream for 6 months, and then I suddenly realise I've read their name wrong. And they've, bless them, they've not corrected me, but it does make me want to go, okay, is that how you pronounce it? Can you spell it phonetically for me? Just because I don't want to offend anyone by mispronouncing their name.
I love
I
that
think generic like
BTTV
hiccups
lets
are okay,
you.
but
I was gonna say I love that BTTV lets you change like what you see in your chat for
Mhm.
whatever somebody's name is. So yeah, it's been really helpful.
Isn't there there's a new app that you can go through and you can add in regulars, prefixes and stuff like that, isn't there? That I feel like I've seen that, which looks really good.
Uh, People's pronouns, yeah, there's a link.
Pronouns, sorry, prefixes.
There's a link
Pronouns.
in
yeah,
the
there's an
Nook Discord
extension.
that a few people have started using it.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah,
in order for you to see it, I believe is that you as a streamer and the viewer has to both download it and
yeah.
so that you can see their pronouns. But I know a few Nookians are using it. I think Avi is. I think the King is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah,
I think
so I guess that for me personally, to answer the question, I definitely do feel, I guess, a little bit of pressure to try and remember people, especially if they've been in the stream before, just because I really do want to kind of be welcoming and make people feel like it does matter that they're there. So I guess in that respect, that's pressure, but that's pressure I put on myself. And at the same time, I'm not like you guys. I'm really, really forgetful. I have a nasty habit of often greeting somebody, and then like maybe if they say something half an hour later, I'll greet them again, and they'll be like, "Wait, no, I already said hi to you. I'm so sorry." I'm like, yeah, no. So I do sometimes struggle with that side of things, but chat's always super understanding about it. So I think it's more pressure I put on myself rather than chat putting pressure on me.
For sure. Yeah, the one thing that I still have trouble remembering, like I can remember people, but I will admit that one thing that I still have trouble remembering, and I feel bad every time, but is people's preferred pronouns, especially if the name that they go by is traditionally maybe like one gender over another. I still flub up sometimes on people's pronouns, and I feel so embarrassed every time. But I think as a streamer, if this is you, or even as a viewer, if you flub up on someone's pronouns, just like genuinely apologize and own it. And eventually it'll just become a habit. It just sometimes can take time to work that out and to crack that habit, I guess.
And again, as a viewer, if a streamer does fluff up, which we do, we're not infallible. please feel free to point it out. I mean,
Yep.
for me and probably most people here, we would prefer, obviously not in an aggressive way, but we would prefer to know as opposed to not, so that we can avoid doing that in the future.
Yeah, I'd
Um,
say that applies to pronouns and if I'm saying your name wrong. Like
yeah,
if there's anything wrong with how I'm addressing you in any way, please let me know.
Or a word that, is offensive now. Like the English language is constantly evolving, and I've had instances in my stream where I have unconsciously said the R word because that was something that was said like without consideration when I was growing up, and it's something that is still kind of like ingrained in my brain, and I've had my mods correct me a few times when I've said it without even really realizing. So yeah, don't be afraid to please, I would love, sometimes I don't realize I've said something. And if I've said something that is generally seen as, not good, you know, don't don't try and lash out immediately, I guess is what I'm saying. Like again, benefit of the doubt. So
Yeah.
dude, that's a great point. Yes, just default to they generally when you don't know the person, especially online, like with usernames. You don't know what they go by. You don't know if it's a he, she, or they, right? So it's easy to just say they until you know.
Yep. Dr. Zivego, mispronounced that name perfectly, asks, what are your perspectives on viewers' suggestions for their own content added / offered to your gameplay or channels, e.g. mods, art, etc.? Does it feel like too much self-promotion or backseat gaming?
I did reply in the chat to them. And we can touch briefly on it again. We spent quite a bit of time talking about that earlier in the stream. Just so everyone knows, our VODs are highlighted on Twitch forever, and then we also do upload them on our YouTube channel. That's such a great question. Do you want to... I don't know if we talked about art, actually, because, yeah, Zavago put in a good one about art in there. Do we want to...
Yeah.
Let's touch on that one.
Yeah, absolutely. I think, in general, anything feedback wise, if you're phrasing it in a constructive way, I will always view it through a positive lens. I think there's definitely some feedback that you can give in a very negative way. But as long as you go out of your way to make it obvious that you're giving this feedback from a genuine place, whether that's positive or negative, or as long as it's constructive, I think it's always a good thing. Me personally, I will always welcome that.
Mm-hmm.
I would say if you're like presenting like, hey, you should check this out or do this thing, never expect the streamer to do it right then or to get an answer immediately. Cause I think a dev of a game was in my chat once and was like, hey, we have a Discord. And it was so awkward to be like, well, I don't join random Discords, but for games I don't know, like having that happen wasn't, my favorite thing, but I mean, it could have been totally different. When like, hey, check out this game when, if you like this game, check something else out, whatever. As long as I think there's not that immediate like do what I want streamer, I think I'm more okay with that.
Right.
I will always, kind of suggest if people do have feedback and things like that, that it's done through Discord, for that exact reason. Because
Yeah.
absolutely, I'm the same. If I'm streaming, I'm gonna be focused on streaming rather than doing whatever else, bar any technical problems.
Yeah.
It's the same with any direct messages as well. Is when you're streaming, unless it's urgent, don't direct message a streamer whilst they're streaming and then flag that you've messaged them. I've had that situation a few times where I get a whisper and someone wants a whisper answer whilst I'm playing a game and reading chat and things like that. And if it's urgent, if it's there are exceptions, obviously. I've got a very close member of the community that occasionally will send me a whisper if he doesn't want to. I've asked him a question and he doesn't want to put the answer in chat, so he'll whisper me, which he knows is absolutely welcome to do, and he knows I'll see it. but there are also people that just want to divert attention slightly.
Mhm.
And rather than talk about it in chat, just send me a Discord message, and we'll talk about it after the stream
Yeah.
when things aren't quite so frantic.
I'm only okay with my mods DMing me. Because I don't have Discord always visible when I'm streaming, so I don't get notified if I have a DM. So I do expect that if a mod needs me to read something ASAP, they'll put it in chat and tag me, but I only allow that behavior from mods. Anyone else, I'll be like, I'll look at it after stream. Like, I don't want to take, attention away from like the game, and it means I have to like leave the game and then go open Discord, and yeah, so. Now, that being said, if the conversation is going a certain way and a viewer goes, oh my gosh, let me send you something and it pertains, then of course, like there's always exceptions, right? And then it's like, okay, yeah, send that to me and I'll bring it up and it'll be part of the overall stream and conversation. But yeah, for the most part, just leave it be, I guess.
Yeah, absolutely.
Were there any other questions? Or did you have something else, Drongo, that you wanted to add to that?
No, I was literally just going to say, is there any more questions?
Okay. I think there was just more commentary in here than anything. Also, just wanted to really give a huge shout out to you guys for all of the comments in chat today. I really appreciate the dialogue that's been going on. I know that for this podcast, we don't always read every comment. I think that we tend to just like skim over them when we're here talking. But yeah, I really appreciate you guys all like chiming in with your opinions and perspectives and comments. That's awesome.
And just generally.
Yeah. Phrasing can make or break a comment. Suggestions are usually much better off as questions rather than imperatives. Agreed.
Yeah.
That too, Lee. Yeah, that's a good point. If you DM me during streams, because you'll forget otherwise, always tell me not to worry about checking it. Yeah. Yeah, that's another good point. Is sometimes if we're DM'd, we think that it is urgent or that we need to check it right away. So as a mod, I also do that too, actually, to the person I mod for. If I happen to DM them when they're live, I just give them a quick note saying, don't worry about it. But actually, this is like a good tip for streamers. And I like that, well, I saw this first on Fraz's stream, and then I actually made the suggestion to the streamer that I mod for, because that streamer was always having people being like, check Discord. I posted something in there. So what Fraz does is Fraz has a channel in his Discord that's called Live Chat. And he always has that open during stream on a dedicated monitor so that if somebody goes and posts something in there, he'll see it. So he's really encouraged his community that like, hey, if you want to share something during the stream and you want me to see it, post it in that channel. And that was such a great idea that I told the streamer that I mod for about that, and he actually implemented the same, and it's working beautifully. So that is like a wonderful idea for any streamer out there that just happens to have a community that wants to share things all the time when they're live. That's a really great workaround for that.
Absolutely. And as the King says, live chat is not family friendly. And because Fraz's channel is family friendly, anyone that wants to be a little bit cheeky can in there, and it obviously won't be on stream. Fraz does have 4 screens. I'm going to point that out as well, which makes it a little bit easier. But it is also a sub perk as well. So it is a really well integrated way of added subscriber benefit.
And I'll make a note that Ananda mods for Fraz, and Fraz is another member of our Nook team. So go give Fraz a follow too.
Yeah, go and give all the Nook a follow. They're all brilliant.
Yes. Really, I thought Fraz was PG-15 is Discord. Now I know. It depends on the game. I know that Fraz does adjust sometimes depending on the game. Like obviously if the game incorporates some swears, I think he's a little bit more lenient on allowing a little bit.
Him and chat are always PG-13. If the game is a higher age rating, he'll put it in the stream title so people can judge from the game whether it's suitable for younger people to watch. But him and chat are always family friendly.
There you go.
Oh, I applaud family friendly streamers. I'm just going to say that out loud right now because I have like, I think I have, do I have a no? I think I have a no swearing redemption, or maybe it's just a word ban. I can't remember, but it's hard sometimes when it's such an everyday part of your vocab.
I couldn't do it.
Yeah, I couldn't do it either. No chance.
Yeah.
I think it's Zelda that has a swear jar for like 3 minutes or something like that. I love it.
Oh, that's fun. I like that. I like that idea.
I think Abby's got a banned word one as well. People can suggest a word that she's not allowed to say for a certain amount of time.
The first time I had that redeemed, the person said "the" was the word that was to be
no.
banned. So that was good times.
Just recite the alphabet, it's fine.
Yeah. Yeah. Perfect. All right. Well, I feel like we've come to the end of the stream of the podcast episode. Let's go see who's live. I know Hekime is live. So we could go raid her.
Yeah. I think Heki is the only Nookie in life at the moment,
It
actually.
appears
Yeah?
to be,
Okay.
unless the others aren't through Discord.
Okay. Yeah, she seems to be the only one on my list. Perfect. All right. Well, we're
Easy
gonna
choice then.
Yes, we're gonna send you guys over to Hekime. Heki is a lovely member of the Nook team and community. Heki is currently playing Fallout 4. So let's agree. Oh, thank you, dude. Yeah, I was literally just about to type that, actually. If you could copy and paste the message that dude just put into the chat, it's the Nook raid with the hearts. Or if you're subscribed to Bloody Drongo, and you have the Nook emotes for Bloody Drongo, you could use that also. Either one works. So yeah, let's go send the love over to Heki. I will get this raid fired up. Anything that you guys want to say to close off? Thank you for joining me as solo host today. I appreciate
I
it.
just want to say thank you so much for having me on. I really enjoyed it. And yeah, I hope that my faffing hasn't put you off having me back.
Oh my gosh, no, it was lovely having you on here. It was so lovely. Thank you, King. I admit it was a bit nerve-wracking coming on here and like alone today, but just goes to show how awesome Joe is as a co-host. I miss him.
Sending love
Yes,
to Joe.
Joe, if you're watching this, you missed out. Sorry,
Missed
buddy.
you.
No, thank you so much for having me, guys. I really appreciate it. I really
Yes,
enjoyed the
thank you
conversation.
for offering to be on this podcast with me today. Thank you, Space Shark. Thank you, Ananda. Thank you, Drongo.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Thank you so much, KL, and all the work you do for the podcast as well. It's brilliant.
Thank you. It's super fun to set up. I love it. So, all right, guys, have a great rest of your Saturday or Sunday. Take care. Go send Heki all the love. Bye.
All the love to you
Bye,
guys.
everybody. Bye.
All right, and we're